Time to go racing. Let's check out the Fuso starting grid from the pole position. Chasing championship number 5 in 6 years, Jamie Whincup alongside him. A win in 2011, Mark Winterbottom, and then 3 third placings so far at this venue for Shane Van Gisbergen. Jonathan Webb was a winner here in 2010. Jason Bright, best for him, P2, position 2, 2010. And the last time winner is alongside him, Will Davison. He won on the Sunday. 5th in the championship at the moment for Fabian Coulthard. What about the performance, Tony D'Alberto in qualifying? David Reynolds, he's battling for a spot, 10th in the championship at the moment. And here's an interesting point, boys. Looking back through the record, Craig Lowndes, who starts today from 10th position, went from 10th to 1st in 2011. There is a precedent. Keep an eye on him.
We just saw Nick Percat lining up there. For those of you who haven't been in touch, Nick is filling in for James Courtney in car 22. It's a brand new car, and Nick's also been slotted into a 4th car drive out of Walkinshaw Racing next year. Tim Blanchard, Russell Ingall, 22nd on the grid. So these guys have moved up because James Moffat has been penalised 3 spots, so he drops back to 23rd and will start alongside his Norton Hornets partner Michael Caruso. The reason for James Moffat's penalty is because of the turnaround on Alex Premer in qualifying, and Garth Tander will start at the back of the grid in car 2, which has been pieced back together after major front end damage in qualifying. On board with Rick Kelly, the Nissan Altima, is Dean Fiore, Dodo Insurance Racing. It's incredible to watch these drivers at this time. This is when they're first released out on a warm-up lap. Chaz Mostert heading to Ford Performance Racing proper next year.
And often on a Saturday we find a real burst of adrenaline and some occasional nonsense attached to that. We're going to have to watch that today because it can have big championship implications. Typically we're seeing cleaner racing on the Sunday. Saturday has been much higher risk, certainly at this and other locations during the year. And you made the point before about Garth Tander. They only just got that car out. It's pretty severely wounded. It's got to go back on the jig when it gets back to Melbourne. They're going to have a look at it and see how it performs in this one.
And let's not forget that Will Davison's car was also pieced together in between the qualifier and the top 10 shootout, so they'll be nervous about that one. Let's check in with the boys at the back and the front of the grid here. Larko.
Well, Matt, I want to just show how critical this is, that Jamie gets brought up onto the... Look at the line here. Don't worry about the big fat line. You can see there. You can see Dutto here. He's talking him up. Right. Now, he's got a little bit of room to go. You can bring the front of the car past here. You can actually bring the wheels right up. What's interesting here, though, is there's no definitive racing line. The cars pretty well come down the middle and all over. So both these guys have an equal opportunity. And I've got to say, I'm surprised they haven't brought their front wheels up a little closer. Brett?
Larko, I want to take you to the other end of the grid. We are down at the back of the grid, and this is where all of the team managers are looking at the moment. They're waiting for the green flag to come out now. Dwayne Palmer has got that. He will drop the green flag once the grid is set, and that will let everyone know, race officials, that we are set to go. So here's Garth Tander coming around now from the rear of the field. Come out, because I want you to see what happens here. If you look straight down the line here, there's the OK. All the yellow flags are in off the fence. When Dwayne's satisfied, he'll wave green. We've got a green flag. Let's go.
And this championship battle has been brewing all season, and now it's reached the critical point. They're going to settle this fight on the streets of Sydney. It's Whincup versus Winterbottom off the front row of the grid, and Mark Winterbottom cuts ahead of the championship leader on the charge down to turn 1. Now Whincup cuts on the inside of him and slides and does he keep off the wall? Yes, he does. And the winner here is Jonathan Webb.
Great performance, Jonathan Webb, to seize the initiative. Wheel spin for Whincup off the line. Whincup now drops back into second, and how's that dive on the dirty side of the road at turn 1 for Jamie, and he got away with it, but just.
Well, Winterbottom did a great job. It was an unbelievable start for him, but he should have covered further. He allowed room down there. Whincup very aggressive. He almost spun and went in the tyres. That was an unbelievable first corner.
So Team Techno, who had a lockout on the second row of the grid of Webb and Van Gisbergen, now find the Darrell Lee Commodore leading the race.
Somebody's having a problem there. Jack Daniels' Nissan appeared to be just limping on the left-hand side of screen. Here are the leaders down into turn 9.
That was Rick Kelly, right-hand rear puncher. There's Lowndes down the inside of Bright. Good job.
So the equation for Craig Lowndes today, he needs to finish this race. He finishes it, he's still in the title hunt tomorrow. It's a little bit more difficult for Whincup and, of course, for Davison.
Somebody hit Rick, I can hear him on the radio, so he's limping back. They're going to bring him into the lane to have a look at it. Here we go, end of lap 1. Jonathan Webb, then it's Jamie Whincup, Will Davison, Winterbottom, Van Gisbergen, Coulthard, Reynolds, D'Alberto, Lowndes 9th, and then Bright 10th. Here's Gizzy down the inside and done on Mark Winterbottom. He might crisscross on the other side. There's a little touch between them on the exit. Frosty's got the inside running now, the next left-hander.
Oh, this is going to be ugly. You won't get 2 cars in there. Well done, guys. That was a very good bit of driving on both.
And very important for Winterbottom to be able to get that spot back, because if he gets bottled up there for any length of time, he's got no chance of being able to lay any kind of a punch on car number 1. I'm surprised at what happened into turn 1. He got a great start, Winterbottom, and you'd think that from that point he could control, but he let something happen that you never want to see. And here's Mostert turned around as well. Problem for him at the back of the field. Did he get shuffled?
Winterbottom's dropping back here. So Fabian Coulthard's now gone around him. The equation for Mark Winterbottom, if Jamie Whincup wins this race, Frosty has to be on the podium.
Must have made a mistake.
Yeah.
He's lost a pile of space there, hasn't he? Look at them.
Well, he hasn't just gone behind Van Gisbergen, he's behind Fabian.
And remember, he got past Van Gisbergen in that manoeuvre back in turn 2, so he's lost a bunch of spots there, and now he's being savaged by David Reynolds.
So this is critical championship stuff, because if Whincup wins, he must finish on the podium, as you just said, Matt. So he can only afford to go back to 3rd if Whincup is at the front. Now, clearly he's not leading yet, but a long race this one, you would think that he's formed so far in terms of speed, he can't afford to let him go. So he's going to have to get his head down and make some ground. Look at this start. Very good drive traction on the right. Look at Winterbottom, he moves it across. It was very, very good in the secondary part of the start, and he had it commanded. And then Whincup down the inside, very aggressive move, and then it parked Winterbottom wide. He lost all those positions. Here it is. So you'll see now, this is on board with Whincup, you'll see them move. Now this is unbelievable. At this point now, Winterbottom should be first in the first corner. Look at that! He moves it left, fires down the dirty side of the road, got it done, and there's the crossover. There, Webb now goes back on the inside and takes the advantage.
I reckon that was even a surprise for Jamie, because he had to really jink to the left on the very dirty side of the road there.
But watch now, he's right out sideways, he almost went in.
And Frosty had the presence of mind to actually ease the steering to the right then and give him some space. Change for the lead. So that's Jamie Whincup in control over Jonathan Webb now. And the fastest lap of the race on the last lap for Jamie. So he's got it by the throat.
This is where he did it. The back end of John Fraser. Up to turn 9, and
well, he was on his way to an accident, which Jonathan Webb saw and got out of the way, but Jamie actually did control it. He didn't end up wide and in the fence down there, but he tried pretty hard to do it. He had the inside front wheel locked. You can hear the tyres squealing in the background. Has he put a mark on that tyre will be a little question, although it was the unloaded side.
And Webb did a good job, Neil. He let him go. What you just said was exactly right. There was going to be an accident. If Jonathan Webb turned in, they were going to crash.
And Coulthard, I was going to say, fastest lap of the race on the last lap there. 30.1 for Fabian. He's in 5th place.
Oh, contact here for Garth Tander and Dean Fiore.
It's folded the front of the bonnet up there at the HRTK. You can just see that as it left the chicane. So this is now turn 8. We've seen so many mistakes here over the years. There's Davison, Van Gisbergen, Coulthard, Winterbottom. So Winterbottom back in 6th position. He can't afford to be back there. He's got to make some ground. Long race, 74 laps, or only 4 laps in. Jonathan Webb, great start. Will Davison was opportunistic at the first corner when there was a drama with his teammate going wide.
Incidentally, we saw a glimpse there before of Chaz Mostert rotating in the number 12 car, and I heard a little bit of chat on the radio. He's got some other issue going on with that car. It may have been as a result of contact, but it's in the pit lane at the moment.
Boys, just reflecting on those first couple of laps, I mean, if we're really frank, if you're in any doubt as to why Jamie Whincup is a champion and wants to be a champion, a again, there's two reasons right there. Both those moves, risky, decisive and assertive. Very, very good stuff.
He's been very good, Larko, at making sure that he has the first and last word in the argument on the track and off it. So he's been very good at making statements lately. He did it in qualifying. He posted the time and just sat down and said, come and get me. He went out in the shootout and delivered pole position, and right there before turn 1, he played the double shuffle on Mark Winterbottom, who thought he had the ace in the pack.
Just taking a bit more information onto the back of the Mostert chat. It's right rear suspension damage on that car, but even as I speak, I can hear him on the radio. I believe he's still in the car, so they'll be looking at that in the garage, but he's now gone a couple of laps down, Scopey.
And further to what Matt was saying, I mean, it was a very bold move, and as Larko suggested, it was really assertive. It's championship-changing stuff when you make those moves, but it was so close to running into the tyres on the outside and potentially running he and Winterbottom into the fence. There was nothing away from both of them crashing.
Can't wait to talk to Jono Webb. He would have thought it was Christmas down there. He saw the alley open up. So this is down at FPR, the Pepsi Max crew have got the rubber out for car 5.
And he's able to do that. Frosty, he's able to do that from lap 6, remember?
So this is his early strategy.
Just going to give you rear tyres only here for the fuel. And just stop on the mark, make sure you stop on the mark. I'll stop on the mark.
Yeah, not a bad strategy, this one. This is what teams will be looking to do. Get him out, because Mark Winterbottom is fast. Best thing he could be doing now is putting him in clear air, punch out some fast laps, and now he's out of the double stacking opportunity as well.
Totally agree.
Opportunity, yeah.
Totally agree, Larko. That's 100%. That's exactly what you do with him. He's got to make ground. You've got to make ground at this point, so he's got to go and put some really good laps together.
He's got a bit of plastic on the front of that thing as well.
Yeah, boys, I'm just running down the other end of pit lane here now. 888 have got a set of tyres out. I can't see here what looks like it's in front of Jamie's pit. This will be interesting. No, it'll be a Lowndes pit. No, they're going to put them away. No, they're not sure what they're doing. But, you know, same thing. No, well, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's for 888. It's for 888, mate.
888. Who did I say?
Yeah, you thought it might have been for Winker, but seriously, 888 with the same thing. That would be a smart thing to do for Craig Lowndes now. He's caught behind D'Alberto. He needs to get out in the clear air, and he needs to use car speed. Van Gisbergen, meanwhile, is making ground on Davison.
So the two fastest guys out there right now are Whincup, just done the fastest lap, 1:29.25, and Van Gisbergen, who's hounding Will Davison, and that lap was a 1:30.25.
There's a couple of other outstanding points to make here. Tony D'Alberto and Lowndes is in, so those tyres for Lowndes. D'Alberto position 7.
Rears only, so I need you on the brake and the clutch. No spinning of the wheels. Stop about 6.5 seconds.
Tim Slade, incidentally, is 9th. Slade is 9th in the bends.
This is smart. Rear tyres only. Have a look at this. Rear tyres. This is very clever. The front tyres, after 7 laps, they've been passengers, basically. This will be the difference. You'll see there. Winterbottom and Lowndes. So remember, when Winterbottom came in, he was roughly 6th. And Lowndes was just at the back of the top 10 behind D'Alberto.
The Chas Mostert fans will be happy he's got back out on the track. That broken right rear suspension is fixed, and he's back out there doing his best right now.
Yeah, my apologies for a bit of confusion there, Neil. I just turned around, got all excited. I saw what I thought were number 1s on the tyres, couldn't work it out. But just so we know, so Lowndes has done that. He's out there now. Now, I'm not having a monitor in front of me at the moment, but, you know, he might be 30 seconds, 40 seconds behind Whincup. So if we get a safety car at some point in the future and they come in, there won't be a double stacking. Whincup will be in, through and out, and Lowndes will be able to come in nicely behind him, fill up his car if he needs to. Smart strategy.
It is, and that gives them the perfect opportunity to separate them, which is what you put a lot of effort into explaining on the whiteboard earlier on, Larko. So fastest lap of the race, Jamie Whincup, 1:29.2. Alex Premer, mechanical black flag for loose rear bodywork on that car. Whincup's got a 3-second margin at the moment.
And history shows us that it's not a case of if the safety car comes out here, it's a matter of when. Whincup leads the race.
So Whincup by 3 seconds, back to Jonathan Webb, and what an authoritative start. So now Winterbottom and Lowndes a split strategy. This is Alex Premer. They've got to get the rear bumper off this car, and they're struggling to do it. Here's Nick Percat, 22, replacing James Courtney this weekend. So pit lane starting to become quite busy as the second car in the majority of teams comes in and gets off strategy compared to their teammate. Under investigation, contact between Dean Fiore and Chaz Mostert on lap 2 at turn 2. That obviously was what caused the drama for Mostert with that right rear suspension. But Whincup fastest lap, 29.2 last time around, 4/10 faster than Jonathan Webb. He's got a fast car, and as much as we talk about him never winning or finishing on the podium here, and there always being safety cars, doesn't mean that will happen. Alex Premer just warming up, getting rolling again, but just because it's happened before doesn't mean it happens again. And this is the most strangest of venues in V8 supercars, as we've seen time and time again. This is Davison and Van Gisbergen. Garth Tander on the charge in the back of the field past Todd Kelly. That's for position 14. Remember that he's started back in 28th. Garth Tander crashed down here, turn 1, earlier in the day in qualifying. He's got a bit of damage to the right front of the number 2 HRT car. Whincup, another fastest first sector. He's got car speed in this early stage. But will he have it later on when the track conditions change and the day cools down? He's looking very good at the moment. The ball is in Lowndes and Winterbottom's court. Lap 9 in Sydney.
He rides the curbs well, he qualifies well, and he wins well. It's a matter of trying to catch me if you can for Jamie Whincup, and this is why. Look at this. 3 quickest laps of the race, 5, 6, and 7. Bang, 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 and he's on target to do another one and take out his lead by 8 seconds or thereabouts. But Mark Winterbottom, the other side of the championship battle, finds himself paired with Craig Lowndes, who's on attack.
And has closed the gap. So in the period while we went away for the break, he's now all over the back of the Pepsi Max car and pushing him very hard, almost to the point of he's a little bit out of his comfort zone defending at the moment, Mark Winterbottom. Just the evidence in the last couple of laps as he's battling to try and hold him. Lowndes has a look down the inside at turn 9. This is next to the Sydney Olympic Park train station. Look at that.
Meanwhile, Whincup, another fastest lap on the last lap, 29.1. But what you don't want to do, these two guys don't need to race each other because they've actually got clear air. It would be smarter from Winterbottom right now just to let Lowndes by and press on. They need to make ground based on their differing strategy to Whincup. And the critical thing right now is safety car. If a safety car comes out, these two guys get a massive free kick.
Yeah, Mark, and your point's a really good one. I think we've got to be clear here. They do the double strategy, sorry, this alternative strategy as exactly that, an alternative. It is not the best strategy. The best strategy is to be the lead car in your team in qualifying, clear air and go. So these guys are already compromised in this strategy. You're dead right, they need to be racing clean. And smart race drivers learn the ability to let a guy go and chase him, pick him up at the other end.
The previous shot that you saw was Van Gisbergen to second, over and above Will Davison. So it's Whincup, Van Gisbergen, Davison, Coulthard, Reynolds, D'Alberto in 6th. Great performance. Jason Bright 7th. Tim Slade in the top 10 now. 8th place car number 47. So nice job there for Erebus Motorsport, Tim Slade. Remember that last year, and this gets lost in translation season on season, but he was the best of the rest after the top 4 from Triple Eight Racing and from Ford Performance Racing last year. He did a very good job, and he's on the move at the end of this championship season, Tim Slade, back to Walkinshaw Racing and in a Holden for him next year.
He has been very good. His form here is very, very good. Whincup's performance so far in this race is unbelievable. He's got an 8.6 second lead over Van Gisbergen. He's on the fastest first sector again. He set the lap record, or the 29.12, the fastest lap so far with new generation times for the previous lap. And he's had a run of laps that are all in the low 29s. This might be safety car. This could be the thing that'll change the course of this race.
Scott McLaughlin from 17th is stopped in an awkward spot.
Safety
safety car will be deployed. So the Petters STP safety car will be deployed. And that's a game changer. Who reacts? How do they react? This is going to play very nicely for cars 5 and 888. Very nicely indeed. In comes Whincup. Instant response. Red Bull Racing Australia ready, as they all are. They'll all take it.
So there's Jono Webb, who was second. The timing monitor, his transponder's been playing up. So Webb's ahead of his teammate Shane Van Gisbergen, who leads a freight train into pit lane. There's double stacking issues coming left, right and centre.
Van Gisbergen will be. He'll go backwards in this scenario. So remember, I've got to make 2 stops. The other guys have already made 1 each. Lowndes and Winterbottom.
So it should be effective by anything going out. Yeah, all clear, all clear. Rip into it, mate, rip into it.
There's Webb. Second to Whincup.
Now, all of these guys are pretty much doing 4 tyres. So David Wall forking Will Davison there. Wall had nowhere to go. So remember that we saw Lowndes with just the 2 rear tyres, so his fronts will be older. There's Scott McLaughlin walking back the exit of turn 1 from the Fujitsu car. This is Bright integrating, and gets trapped by Murrow Engel. And you can see just how awkward it is with all this double stacking and the pit lane congestion when everybody dives in there at once. That's what made the move by cars 5 and 888 a good one early. They got it done nice and clean. Brett?
Neil, Scotty McLaughlin's problem is a clutch or drive line. They just can't work out what it is. He experienced some shuddering of the car, and it's just not working for him at all. Just had to shut it down. We'll talk to him as soon as he gets in and find out exactly what it was.
All right, Brett. Thank you. So safety car, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. And it's tipped this race upside down. The big winners, Winterbottom and Lowndes. Take a break and bring you back to the Sydney 500.
So Scott McLaughlin, just his second retirement from the season. The last time and only time was the crash that he had at Pukekohe that put him out of the final race there and benched that car. So Whincup is the leader. The timing screen's having a little bit of weirdness with Jonathan Webb's car, but he has stayed in second spot from all of that time on the run-up. So safety car's out, lap 12 of 74. The shuffle has occurred. Remember, Winterbottom and Lowndes came in early, got out of the traffic and ran on some clear road together. So they've popped back out on the road. By the looks of things from this shot, in 3rd and 4th place. Webb is still second. Then it's Coulthard and Davison. So Winterbottom's got in front of Davison. Lowndes has got closer to Whincup. So they're out of kilter a little bit now in terms of when they've stopped. Remember, Winterbottom pitted at the end of lap 5. Lowndes did as well. You can see the order there rolling around, and that car peeling in is Chaz Mostert, who is 4 laps down in the Wilson Security Dick Johnson 12 car. So this gives you the idea of who is where in the order as the safety car rolls across the line. Whincup leads, Jonathan Webb second, Mark Winterbottom third, Craig Lowndes is fourth, then Fabian Coulthard, Will Davison, who was delayed in the pits. Van Gisbergen was backing up the traffic because he didn't want to wait as much as he had to, or otherwise he would have, when he got to the pit bay, because Jonathan Webb was already there. So that's why those 5 cars with Reynolds and Will Davison, that's why they were all nose to tail, because Van Gisbergen was stacking them up and holding them back to give himself a bit more run up to the pit bay as they salvage and recover the Scott McLaughlin Fujitsu car. So there's the order: Will Davison, David Reynolds, Tony D'Alberto, Alex Davison, Nick Percat. Van Gisbergen's dropped spots, but not as many as he otherwise would have had he had to be parked there waiting for his teammate. Lap 13, safety cars out in Sydney.
Now this is what we love about the Sydney 500, totally unpredictable. And we're still under the direction of the STP Pettis safety car. So Jason Bright here, this is what we saw live. Ooh, Russell had nowhere to go because Jason had nowhere to go because Murrow Engel was blocking the run. And it's not very wide there at pit lane. Oh, couldn't miss him. We'll grab another quick break so we can take you as much racing as we can right after this.
So, a chance to have a little bit of a stop and a think about it, but all the championship contenders are up the front. They're in the game, but they've got to beat Whincup. They can't just sit and hope and pray that things go wrong for car 1. They've got to get up and race him. Someone must make a statement in this second last race of the year. He will not handball this away. He's won 4 championships. He's won 4 Bathursts because he's reached out and taken them. And that move at turn 1 on Mark Winterbottom showed that. He's not a cruise and collect champion. He goes and chases and hunts them down and punches them up and takes their spots. They're going to have to do it back to him. Winterbottom has to do it back to him to stay in the game. Lowndes has to stay in the game here. He's only 20 points behind coming into this race, but he doesn't want to drift further back. He needs to be in the ballpark for tomorrow. 150 points on the line today for the winner. Another 150 tomorrow, so plenty of potential for a swing. McLaughlin's car has been removed from where it stopped. That was on the run between turns 1 and 2. Oh, nothing like some debris to clean up as the cars run around. Murrow Engels the one to finish it off and send it into the wall, which at least gets it off the racing surface. So still a long way to go. Lap 14, 61 to complete. 74 lap race, 250 kilometres. 26 cars on the lead. Lap Chaz Mostard's 4 laps down. McLaughlin is out of this race. Who can be a fly in the championship ointment? Could be Fabian Coulthard, David Reynolds, Tony D'Alberto. They're all in among there. Lap 14, still under the safety car. Bottom right of screen is Will Davison, who sits position 6 in car 6.
Welcome back. You haven't missed any racing because we're still under safety car at the Sydney NRMA Motoring and Services 500. Here on this Saturday afternoon, twilight race for the first time, and nerves are building. It's only early days in this race, still 61 laps to go. And that safety car has really changed things up, but Jamie Whincup remains the leader of the race.
Which has got us slightly confused.
Yeah.
Mark Scape and I have been talking in the break about this because normally he would take...
They said 80, so you're fine to maintain what they said.
So normally what would happen when you peel off in that scenario is there'd be a natural penalty. But the way that it's panned out is that they picked up Whincup again, even though he peeled off as the race leader, they picked him up again as the race leader. I'm having a little bit of trouble with that abacus, trying to get that right in my head.
I'm totally with you. For me, Winterbottom and Lowndes should be the guys at the front of the field. Whincup should be buried based on the deployment of the safety car and coming in on the opening lap of that deployment. So I can't really work out the proximity of the cars. We'll have to muse over that one as the race continues. So restart now. Lap 14.
So Jonathan Webb in second. Then Winterbottom and Lowndes. Top speed 250 kilometres per hour down to turn 1.
Just to add a little bit of complexity to the puzzle, Jonathan Webb's transponder, his timing mechanism isn't working properly. You mentioned before, Matty. So he popped off our computer, which had us scratching our heads, but he hasn't vanished off screen. There he is. He's in the Darrell Lee entry. He's doing a ripper job. This is a place he loves. Sydney boy, as is Mark Winterbottom, as is James Courtney, who's watching this race. And remember that his car, new car, is out there, car number 22, driven by Nick Percat. He's 9th in the field at the moment. You'll see him come through here, just at the back of this little group. There he is, just at the end of that tail. He's just in front of Van Gisbergen. This is turn 8. It's treacherous. There's Percat. Michael Caruso looking pretty racy there. Lowndes down the inside of Frosty. Just stops it. Just stops it before clobbering. Oh, and cops away.
Now it's going to block the track. Oh! No. No. 2 of the major competitors. This won't be okay.
Percat's in there, car 22 damaged again, but it's the championship contenders. Winterbottom with damage to the right-hand rear of that car and the side.
There's more damage than you think.
Lowndes will have damage as well. David Reynolds has damage. How much? The number one thing for Craig Lowndes today is to make sure he does not have a DNF. So he makes the gutsy move down there at turn 9. Then around here at turn 10, a push. He spins out to the left-hand side. The other cars can't stop. Bottolo into the Pepsi car, into the Red Bull car. And that's a fissure all round.
Listen. Oh. How quickly was he to back the first slot to get back out of there? That was stunt driving stuff. He was back in first gear and back out like you can't believe that. Look at the reaction with the FPR guys.
So it's been Winterbottom versus Whincup all year. We know that. In the last couple of rounds, it's been Winterbottom against Lowndes. It bubbled over at Phillip Island, and it's had consequences here, championship consequences here at Sydney. Jamie Whincup, meanwhile, is having a wow of a time, posting fastest laps left, right and centre. The safety car's been kind to him.
Can't believe they're still out there.
Championship contenders are wobbling around behind him. And yet again,
still long way to go.
More damage for car 22, this time a brand new car 22.
That was all just clumsy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The whole thing was clumsy. Craig got by down the inside, but then the nose-to-tail contact in the next little short shoot came about because Craig is tucked up to the right, makes his entry much slower to turn 10, the right-hander, by definition. Look at the damage on that thing. There's massive damage. Oh, another problem now for Tim Blanchard. Solidly in the wall. If he can't reverse out of this, we're going to see the Pettis STP safety car again. Ingle in, damage in the front of that car.
Safety car boards and flag, safety car boards and flag. We have a car off at turn 1, safety car scramble, 60 kilometres an hour.
You're going to hear that a lot this weekend. Safety car scramble. It's going to go out there again. Tim Blanchard and the Wilson Security Falcon finding it hard to remove car 17 from that tyre bundle.
The intensity here in the Red Bull garage at the moment is just incredible. The reaction from that contact from Mark Winterbottom on Craig Lowndes, hands in the air and head shaking. Roland Dane, what did you make of that from Mark Winterbottom?
It was a deliberate tap of Craig. Bit silly, really, when they've screwed up their pit stops at strategy anyway. They pitted before the window was open, didn't rectify it under the safety car, which would have cost them less. So they're obviously under pressure and not taking it very well.
Have you taken any action?
We've asked for an investigation, etc., because it was pretty blatant. So, I mean, luckily at the moment, Craig's still going. But, you know, we're not quite sure of the condition of the car at the moment.
All right, Larko's at FPR. Thanks, Roland.
Well, let's ask Tim the question. Sorry, Tim, I can see you looking at Roland Dane talking there. You probably can't hear him what he's saying. So a couple of things. First of all, the hit Winterbottom, we like seeing him being aggressive, but it was probably a little bit much on Lowndes. How do you defend that one?
Well, I'm not sure that Craig found himself offline, out of position, and he's clearly had to lift out of it to get round the next corner because he'd overshot the corner. So all of a sudden he's balked in front of Frosty. I mean, he's not a mind reader. He didn't have a crystal ball that he knew that Craig was going to do that in front of him. So I think there's two parties at fault here.
Mate, I already know we've spoken about it, but for the people at home, so Roland Dane now saying that you've stopped too early. Lap 5, you've done the wrong thing there. Your response to that?
Well, the rule is that you have to have completed 5 laps, and the leader has to have commenced his 6th lap. And if you roll back the footage, the leader had commenced his 6th lap, so no issue. He might want to reread the rules.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, and that's right. Jamie Whincup had crossed the control line to start lap 6 of the race, and that's what Tim Edwards is saying. So that's the incident there that caused Tim Blanchard to find the tyres and cause the safety car. So contact.
It's Shane Van Gisbergen down the inside, so just nips by and grabs the front left. In fact, Shane was locked up himself at that point, and he used Tim as a bit of a battering ram. So that ended up with the Wilson Security Ford Falcon in the barriers on the right-hand side. We'll take the opportunity under the Pettis STP safety car to just take a breath. So at the moment, it's Whincup in control. And there's a whole lot of things to unravel here at Sydney Olympic Park. We'll do it, and we'll be back in a moment.
And race control has advised that contact between Lowndes and Winterbottom will be under investigation. They're looking into it. So Russell Ingall in the pits with damage to the super cheap car. Tim Blanchard in the wall down at turn 1. It's a standard Sydney race. Weird stuff unfolding as we start to approach the late part of the day. It's 5:45 local time. And Whincup is the leader. Car number 1 is in position number 1. This is the end of lap 18. He's led all but 2 laps. Jonathan Webb led the first 2 in the Darrell Lee Techno Commodore. And they're still having some
120 on the streets, 120
dramas with the timing screen because Jonathan Webb keeps dropping down it. But he is definitely second in the race. The order behind: Coulthard, Will Davison, Lowndes, D'Alberto, Winterbottom, Percat. Tander from the back of the grid, 28th to 8th. That's a great job. David Reynolds, Van Gisbergen, Michael Caruso, best of the Nissans. He's had a lot of bad luck with mechanical dramas in the last few events. He's the best of them at the moment. Todd Kelly, Tim Slade, James Moffat, Alex Premer, Maro Engel. Here he's in the pit lane. His final weekend with the Erebus team. Final weekend for SP Tools with them as well before they move to the Holden Racing team next year. Just going to top him up on fuel. Of course, the cars must be lifted off the ground while being refueled. It is a rule. Bit of stall there, but no effect. We'll slot in behind and rejoin in that very distinctive Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG behind Chaz Mostert, who's 4 laps behind. So we have an interesting race 35. 56 laps to complete. Whincup is the leader, 150 points on the line. He's looking the goods, but this thing's got a long, long way to go.
Channel 7 Coates Hire chopper high above Sydney Olympic Park with a bird's eye view of the chaos and carnage that we have come to expect, and this race is delivered again, which makes for spectacular footage, but if you're a driver or a team owner, well, it's a long and hard afternoon. And yet again, Jamie Whincup is at the front of the field behind the STP Pettis safety car, and Jono Webb's doing a great job.
Jono Webb's done a really good job at the start of this race. The bit that Neil and I still can't understand is when Whincup and Webb were leading, they come in for a pit stop, the safety car goes out, and they still picked up as the leader. So I don't understand why Winterbottom and Lowndes shouldn't be the leaders at that point and should have been buried. These 2 guys should have been further back. So we'll try to fix that for you. Restart again. Now, lap 19 of 74. This will be a cracker race. Whincup has done a great job so far.
One of the great mysteries of the universe for me at the moment is how cars 888 and 5 can still be out there battling away with all these scars on them. And how's the boys down at the Holden Racing team at the moment? What sort of torture have they been through since Bathurst? Van Gisbergen actually rubbed the fence then, I think, on the exit of turn 1. And they've got more damage on both cars 2 and 22 at the moment.
Boy, the ultimate.
Now Fabian Coulthard's threatening here on the back of Jonathan Webb, race winner in that fantastic performance back in 2010.
It remains his only race win so far of his career, Jono Webb. We don't know what's going to happen next year. In fact, there's quite a few we could say that about, but you mentioned before, he's a Sydney boy at heart, and he really stands up when he gets to this circuit. Okay, we've seen this movie before. Let's see if it's the same ending. Turn 9. Lowndes goes through, Winterbottom behind him. They get through turn 10 cleanly.
Under investigation also the incident between Van Gisbergen and Tim Blanchard at turn 1, so race control having a look into that one. Must have a radio drama going down there, do they? At Pepsi Max Ford Performance Racing, if they're using a pit board.
That's for Will Davison. Wilbur Davison, if you like. So investigations continuing. This one between car 97 of Van Gisbergen and Blanchard. That incident that caused the last safety car. And we often speak about this in these races where there's interruptions and they know that it's going to be like that, but you've got to find yourself back in the groove. So this is the aerial replay of Lowndes down here, Dawn Fraser Avenue, around the bus stop. Right there was where they came together on the previous trip around. A big roller coaster, big dipper. Novotel Hotel on the right-hand side. Duck underneath some pedestrian bridges, the short chute between 10 and 11, and even shorter between 12 on the 13, and then unleash onto Australia Avenue heading west. As the sun starts to set, it's going to be harder and harder for these guys heading that way as Garth Tander locks it up.
You may have seen a little graphic come up on screen there a moment ago as well. Car number 360, the Norton Hornet, a Nissan Altima driven by James Moffat. Pit lane drive-through penalty for an unsafe pit release for that car. And you see bits flailing off the Falcon there as well at the moment, so they'll be looking at that carefully in race control as well.
How about man of the match so far? Garth Tander starting from the back of the field after the drama from qualifying, now up to 8th. So he's come from 28th to 8th, 20 positions. Great drive.
I just spoke about getting back into the rhythm. Well, Whincup at the front of the field has wasted no time. Fastest lap of the race, not too far off the lap record, 128.82 last time around for car 1.
Yeah, as it cools out, the conditions are nice. A little bit of that rubber's just come off that car, which is kind of good news for them, I think. But maybe it's a door seal off the right rear door, something of that nature.
Yeah, well, it's the seal around the windscreen or the window piece. Yeah, so you can just see that that window is actually going to dislodge soon. You can see it now. Yeah.
So 28.8 is pretty quick, Matt, relative to the numbers that we saw in qualifying and the shootout.
He'll be under threat here of a mechanical black flag for loose bodywork. I know it's already been shown to Alex Brenner.
Lowndes just copped something in the windscreen then in the braking area at turn 9.
Alberto currently in 6th position, doing a very, very good job all weekend. In fact, he's been the front runner for the Walkinshaw prepared cars. Fabian Coulthard 3rd. This.
It'll be underweight if it keeps going. There's just bits shedding off it minute by minute.
Stop it. I can't believe it's still going. The amount of damage is on it.
So here's Van Gisbergen on the attack at the moment. That's Garth Tander in front of him, car number 2. And Steve Hallam from that team told me that they just tracked its progress, see how it went, but that it was pretty severely wounded and was going to need some fair remedial work when they get back to the shop in Melbourne. But it's obviously not performing too bad at the moment for Garth. But he's a great street fighter in these conditions. We've seen it before. He's got a lot of success on these kinds of racetracks over his long career. Isn't that a ripper shot? ANZ Stadium, and then looking to the east back towards Sydney. Heading down here into that very tricky turn 8 that we've made reference to several times this weekend. There it is. It's a little hump right in the middle of it, and then it just, on the exit, tapers down to an off-camber corner, and Mark Scope uses the terminology that it's like magnets in the wall. That's what it is down there. As you come off that corner, they're drawing you into the concrete. It's very easy to make a mistake and come unglued down there. So here's Jonathan Webb still in Darrell Lee entry, car number 19, still not appearing on the computer timing at the moment, but still second on the road as we understand.
Good point about Garth Tander, guys, and Nick Burkhardt for that matter, both inside the top 10 for the Holden Racing team. Tander's got that ability to bounce back too. He's not rattled by a big incident. He only got 1 lap done in qualifying before he hit the wall right here. And then it was a mad scramble. Garth was on the tools himself, helping out to get that car back out there. When you've done more than 200 V8 Supercar events and more than 470 races and won the championship before, you're not easily rattled. So Whincup, 5.2 seconds is the gap back to Of course, the gap back to Fabian Coulthard, but remember, he's got Jono Webb inside of that. So it's Holden 1, 2, 3 and 4. The leading forward of Will Davison. Tony D'Alberto, 6th position. Then Winterbottom.
I love this shot, man. It's a really good shot based on the workload. Looking up towards Will Davison and the steering work. You can see the pedal work, the number of gear changes required. A lot of first gear action on this circuit. And just the intensity of the lap. Right next to the fence again. Final corner right out to the fence again. And this great run down the hill, Australia Avenue.
Split second, the transponder worked in Jono Webb's car and showed us that he was 3 seconds behind Jamie Whincup, and he disappeared again. Well, you're having a hell of a day if you're following Jono's fortunes just on the timing. But he's having a good day out on the road.
So Lowndes come out of that incident with Winterbottom actually reasonably well, because it spun round back into the tyres. He was the fastest man to first gear in the whole of the planet, and then he was probably already in first gear as it went in.
Well, as he bounced out of one accident, he drove straight to the next one. And to still be rattling around there in the lap speed that he's achieving at the moment is pretty remarkable. He's only 6.7 seconds off the lead of the race. There he is at the office.
He's the man you want if you need a getaway driver, isn't he, after that one? He was out of there quicker than he was in there. Got to finish today. That's what he's got to do to keep the pressure on his teammate. He'll be looking to do much more than that. We're approaching the top of the hour here, so our New South Wales and Victoria viewers will soon have 7 News at 6 coming your way, but we'll continue on 7 Mate and then return again. Live V8 Supercar Racing on 7 Sport. Fabian Coulthard, breakthrough season for him. He had a terrific time throughout the middle of the season. Had his first win at Tasmania. In fact, he had 2 out of 3 wins that day in the 60-60 Super Sprint format first up. And then was on the podium when we went to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, all day, including a win in the 4 races, all weekend rather. The 4 races we had, he had a win, a second and 2 thirds. A very strong season when he looks back at it. And if he can finish it off on the podium or on the top step here, he'll be a happy camper at the end of 2013. So finally, guys, there seems to be some sort of rhythm into this race. They've settled into a groove. They're not picking fights with each other at the moment.
Well, this might end up as one. Because Van Gisbergen was hurt when he double stacked in the stop, remember? So he went back a long way. His speed probably should be 3 or 4 cars further up, and he's now putting pressure on Tander. But it has settled down a little bit, Matt. Remember, lap 26, we're looking for, say, 38, 39 as the next stop.
As the get home. Yeah. Matt did say at the moment, in reference to any of the lunacy. There is Saturday fever sometimes in this caper, I'm sure. So Tander's doing a mighty job there at the moment. Real street fighter in that car. It's bent and bruised. There's D'Alberto.
I can't believe that window hasn't come out.
What we can't forget either is this is the latest that these guys have started a race this season, so their whole day's out of whack. They're all up early this morning as usual, just waiting to get into it. And this is a kind of circuit where you need to be on your game mentally. Fatigue can set in quickly here, and one simple mistake can ruin your whole day. So it's going to get tougher and tougher. Conditions will change, the sun will get lower, and they're going to have to keep on fighting. 250 Ks in a day. So, as I mentioned before, 7 News at 6 is coming your way for New South Wales and Victorian viewers. You want to keep on watching the V8 Supercars, just switch across to 7 Mate now. And we'll be back on 7 in half an hour's time. What a day, hey? weather-wise, perfect. Forecast is good for tomorrow, but you don't need any rain around here to find trouble. You just hear what I heard?
Yeah. We're locked. Matthew, you remember a little while ago, Barrett's giving you an update about Scotty McLaughlin losing drive. Well, I can tell you, looking down the pit straight here, there's a big long line of gearbox oil, and this, look at that, that's just come underneath the gap in the pit wall here. That's actually a drop gear out of the transaxle, the thing that how you change ratio. So yeah, that'll do it. Never seen that before.
It's handy when they deliver bits right at your lap there, Larko. Very good.
You're going to have excess baggage to take home if you keep collecting things off the circuit this weekend, mate.
It's like a little bowerbird, isn't he? They're picking stuff up. Just seagull outside KFC.
So what's the state of play on lap 28 out of 74? So we've got more than 40 laps to go here. Jamie Whincup is in control. Jonathan Webb continuing to do a very solid job for the Darrell Lee Techno Autosports Commodore. Fabian Coulthard for Lockwood Racing remains in third position. Our other championship combatants, Craig Lowndes in fourth, Will Davison in fifth. There's Tony D'Alberto. It's a little bit battered and bruised, the Team High Flex Commodore, but he's inside the top 10 along with Mark Winterbottom, Garth Tander, Shane Van Gisbergen and Nick Percat. It's a good thing this event's sponsored by NRMA, Crompo, because I reckon we need to call them.
Need to call them in a hurry.
In a hurry. More and more as the race goes on. At the Sydney 500. Stick around.
So 28 down, and it's still Whincup. He's led all but 2 laps of this 35th and penultimate race in the championship. Great view there, looking down at this Sydney Olympic Park, the business district area, before they run onto Australia Avenue, the pit straight on this V8 supercar track. This is David Reynolds and Todd Kelly. Reynolds, formerly a driver for the Kelly team a couple of years ago and left in slightly controversial circumstances. A little bit of ill feeling there when he departed, but this is Mark Winterbottom, and still this number 5 car is staying together. It's been flailing bodywork and right rear windows and door trims and all sorts of stuff, but it's still going. It's position 7. Tander and Van Gisbergen are with him. Percat's next, a bit further down the road. So this has been an almighty effort from Garth Tander to haul this number 2 Commodore from the back row of the grid right up to the back of Winterbottom, who started on the front row of the grid from some 28 laps earlier. Whincup is really starting to rub their face in it now, because he's just cranked out the fastest second sector of the race so far. Lee Holdsworth, the Erwin Merck. It's going, but not quickly. It's trying to limp it back to the lane.
Steering heavy, is it, mate?
Sounds like power steering. Just going by James Moffat, who's had a pit lane penalty for a pit lane infringement earlier on. It's been a very character-building year for Lee Holdsworth. Had some good runs in the Enduros, and he and Craig Baird were 5th in the Pertec Enduro Cup. Pulling hard right is the call in the Irwin Mercedes, so it would appear to be that he is done. Lowndes is keeping the pressure on Fabian Coulthard. He sits position number 4, but that will be a giveaway of points to Whincup. That mistake in the top 10 shootout that sent him back to 10th on the grid, critical, costly. You can't give Whincup breaks like that and still expect to beat him. But he will push on. We're on lap 30 now. Whincup in control. Jonathan Webb turning in his best driver of the year. He's been missing for the last 7 or 8 events, but this is a welcome back to form.
It's a great time of the year in the harbour city of Sydney. It's absolutely sparkling today. A little bit out further west, the Homebush Bay Sydney Olympic Park precinct is hosting this battle royale on the streets. It's such a wonderful venue for us. Olympic Boulevard that cuts right through the middle is hosting Merchandise Alley. That's the dome and the pavilion where all the cars head in. You normally buy your show bags there at Royal Easter Show time. Right there's the train station, so everything works well. You can jump on free public transport and pop up right in the middle of this circuit. And away you go. So let's run you through the highlights. This is an incredible start from Winterbottom against Whincup. Whincup starts from pole. Winterbottom gets the jump. But then Whincup goes, hang on a second, I'm going to make a statement. And I'm going to make it loud and clear. They slide into turn 1 and Jono Webb puts the Darrell Lee Chocolates Commodore in front. But not for long, because Whincup came back at him down at turn 9. And all this in the first couple of laps. So remember that Craig Lowndes and Mark Winterbottom decided to pit as soon as they could, and they avoided all this. They avoided all the drama when the first safety car came out. Russell Ingall had nowhere to go but straight into the back of car number 8 as Lowndes began a charge on Winterbottom, who gave him a tap at turn 10 and then double crunch. Lowndes was like a thief in the night there. He ran away from the scene as quick as he could. And somehow, they're both still out there.
Watch this. Wow, straight away.
Thanks for the sound effects, Scafey.
It's like a video game.
What's this? Oh, it's just unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it at Ford Performance Racing. And the back of Mark Winterbottom's car has just been absolutely mauled. Contact for Van Gisbergen and Tim Blanchard, another safety car. And then this is how it should have happened previously on Sydney 500. That time they got through cleanly. So the state, after 32 laps, or on 32 laps, is Whincup leading from Webb, then Coulthard. And Lowndes here showing good pace.
He's putting pressure now on Fabian. Their lap times are roughly half a second away from Whincup. Whincup's speed is extraordinary at the moment. Lowndes got a good run now on Fabian. Up the hill here to turn 8. We've seen lots of drama. He'll need to get a good exit here because he'll have a dive down at the end of Dawn Fraser Avenue. This is the spot. A little bit too far back now. But he'd come from further back than this when it was with Mark Winterbottom's dive. See those, the rise and fall, the undulation out the front of the Novotel. Very difficult braking area. This is now past the train station, and the closing part of this lap is very tight. Use a lot of the curb at 11. More curb at 12, right out to the gutter. You run along parallel with the fence and then on to the straight. You can see the amount of damage and the paint that's on that wall. Look at the front of Russell Ingall's car.
Yeah, Russell was not a happy man. Normally when you come in for a facelift, you go out looking a lot better, but that car looks pretty ugly. They've used every single piece of race tape and gaffer tape, and Russell said, why are the boys even bothering? I'm a handful of laps down. And I said, mate, fastest lap of the race. That's the aim now. So he had a bit of a chuckle at that, and they've sent him back out.
You saw that in the highlights, that replay there before we got tangled up in the pit lane. Really no fault of his own. It was just one of those congestion moments. Even a 40k incident there can do lots of damage around the front of the car. So look at the amount of race tape on it. Looks like it's had shrink wrapping and sent it to somebody as a Christmas present from Super Cheap.
Happy Baptist Day.
That's it.
So riding with David Reynolds, looking back at the Nissan Altima of Todd Kelly. Remember, Reynolds was caught up in that crunch at turn 10 with Lowndes and Winterbottom.
See a very heavily scarred Erwin Merck here. I want to try and catch a word with a disappointed Lee Holdsworth, mate. The trick to this game, as you know, particularly here at Sydney, is getting from one end to the other without a drama. What caused what looks to be a steering rack breakage?
Yeah, it does. Just the end, the housing's broken away from the end of the steering rack. So I don't know how that happened. Obviously, it's pretty harsh on curbs around here, but yeah, we've probably got a little bit of work to do over the break to come back with something that we can fight up the front with next year.
Gee, it's hard out there though, Lee. I just looked at your car, you got damage, and I know you don't drive into people. There's damage front, back, rear, sides, everywhere. It's tough out there. It's a jungle.
Honestly, at the start there, it was just absolute mayhem. Like, if you didn't hit someone, you weren't pressing hard enough. There was just big traffic jams, and, you know, it's just start and stop sort of track. So when everyone stops up the front, it just creates a big chain reaction behind them. So, yeah, she's got a bit of damage, but, yeah, fortunately, we'll be back out there tomorrow.
forward to seeing you out there, pal. Brett?
And like, not very easy trying to follow Jono Webb this weekend or in this race because he is up and down the timing list at the moment. Even his dad, Steve, can't work out what's going on. So transponder problem, Steve?
Yes, apparently so, Brett. So we've had a word with the officials. It appears that the timing transponder, which is in the car and triggers the timing wires in the track, has malfunctioned. So the timekeepers are officially clicking him over each time he comes past to do a lap count, but will always be a lap down while this race continues, unfortunately. But he is in second place and he's hanging in there, and we're hoping to maintain it to the end.
All right, hang in there. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Yeah, Steve means he's a lap down on the computer, but he's not in reality. There he is, Darrell Lee Chocolate's entry, Techno Autosport. This is a car designed by 888 Race Engineering, so it's essentially the same as the car that leads the race, Jamie Whincup's car number 1. But adjusted to the liking of the individual drivers. Here's the battle then for third and fourth, Fabian Coulthard and Craig Lowndes. And then further afield, you've got Will Davis, and there's Tony Gilberto, great performance. Mark Winterbottom with all that damage in the right rear, Tander with damage, then Van Gisbergen. This is a great performance from Nick Percat, but also damage on that brand new Holden Racing Team Commodore. And just behind Nick is Michael Caruso. Terrific performance in the Nissan Altima. I don't know, that was shaking, wasn't it, under brakes? And it's probably actually a little bit hard to see an apex around here, that is the middle of the corner, because the way the bonnet's folded, he's going to have to do a bit of it by braille.
Well, his eye line would basically be straight at that white bonnet.
There's Michael Caruso.
Oh, that was nasty.
We went back and caught up with him at Phillip Island when he was having a moment, and that looked like we were about to do the same. So he's done a terrific job here in the Nissan this weekend. He's been competitive.
And Larko had just spoken to his former teammate Lee Holdsworth, now driving for Mercedes and posting another DNF next to his name. He's had a terrible run. He had 5 straight in the middle of the season, and one at Phillip Island, another one here today. But that's what this circuit does. Back after this.
And Michael Caruso, who we were just following, has a stunning record here on the streets of Sydney. He hasn't won a race, but in all bar one race that's ever been held here, he's finished in the top 10, so his form is very good. He's originally a Sydney boy, lives in Melbourne now. Nick Percat's filling in for a Sydney boy, James Courtney, of course, from nearby Penrith, but Percat is pedalling away at the moment and sits 10th, so HRT have 2 cars in the top 10, and Nick Percat will join full-time. He gets his big opportunity that he's been working so hard for in a 4th Walkinshaw Racing car. It will be under the James Rosenberg-owned Racing Entitlements contract that currently runs Tim Slade in the 47 HHA Mercedes, and Slade replaces Russell Ingall in the Super Cheap Auto Commodore next year. We're on board with Mark Winterbottom looking back at Garth Tander. 7th and 8th. Van Gisbergen is next in the queue as we approach half race distance of the penultimate race of 2013, the first year of the new generation V8 supercars. If Winterbottom finishes where he is, he's done in terms of the championship, but he'll still be in a fight for 3rd. Remember that Will Davison is 4th. It could become a fight for the title between the Red Bull drivers tomorrow and a fight for 3rd, and bragging rights from the Pepsi Max crew garage between Winterbottom and Davison. So there's still plenty to play for. Whincup that time, 1:29.0, half a second faster than Jonathan Webb. He's got them covered for speed. No one has got the pace of car number 1. They need some bad luck to befall Whincup. Otherwise, he'll build his margin on Craig Lowndes. He'll be in a better position for tomorrow. But there's a long, long way to go. We've just clicked past 1 hour of racing. Oh, down turn 1, car in the fence, Tander again. He was there in qualifying, but he's made it out.
Back at Sydney Olympic Park, we just had another incident just moments ago, but Garth Tander has managed to escape. Car number 2 has crunched into the wall yet again. And the curse of the concrete strikes Tander at turn 1.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make, Matt, at turn 1. This time the front left was locked as he turned in there, and he couldn't get it stopped. This morning he ran wide in qualifying and whacked it down there. It just lit up on the concrete. Nowhere to go. Second time today in that very spot. In fact, this time it's a little bit closer to the corner. Last time it was further around the corner where there was just a single band of tyres. So these tyres have protected him a bit more this time. There's David Wall, Wilson Security Commodore.
Oh, good, mate.
We commented how well Garth had gone. He gained 20 positions from starting at the back of the field. Michael Caruso is the other man of the match at the moment. He's gained 13 positions in the Nissan Altima. So fantastic job, Michael Caruso.
David Wall's had a good solid season too. He's posted his best qualifying effort this year at Austin, Texas, when he was on the second row of the grid. His best race came at the Gold Coast, 7th. He's always been in the mix for Wilson Security. I'm really surprised that Garth managed to get away relatively unscathed.
Well, he was lucky. Neil said exactly the right thing there. Has he gone again? Is that Garth? He may have a drama with the brakes.
Yes,
yep, that is. It's GT. So there is a problem for car 2.
On the brakes, I don't know what's going on. But it just will not stop. Mate, I couldn't brake any earlier then.
There you go.
So there's clearly a brake drama with Garth Tander. It could be lots of different things, so we won't go into what may technically be an issue with the car from a braking standpoint. But look, it locks the left-hand front again, and he was going to go on the fence. He did a good job. He cleared the brake and flicked it to the right.
He's had a bit of practice. That's his third crack at it.
He'll be a movie wheel doing stunt work.
It's easy to me to have a gag about it, but he'll be anything but happy inside the cockpit. But the point is, if it is a real drama now, and as he said, it's a joke, and I couldn't possibly brake any earlier, you may be better to actually take it off the track, because the last thing they can afford at the moment at the Holden Racing team is more damage in the run that they've had in the recent past. It's been pretty brutal.
Scotty McLaughlin's gone from driving his race car to driving his Twitter account. Scotty, I was going to ask you what happened, but I can read here on your tweet. I got a pretty good start, but I got cut off, so I had to take a bit of a shortcut. That was the best part of my race. That really sums it up, I guess.
Yeah, we don't do as many laps as I did. I mean, we blew a gearbox, that sucks, but, you know, it's all right. I come back here, have a bit of fun, and, you know, we've had an awesome year. We've got to go through the lows as well, and, yeah, having a bit of fun now with my fans.
Back into action tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. Change the gearbox overnight and get back into it. We've got a fast car, just got to work on it.
All right, Scotty, all the very best, and people can follow you on Twitter. That's great.
Yep, cheers. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Always join the conversation. Barrett's, as we know, throughout the season, use the hashtag V8SC. Scotty McLaughlin will be back out here tomorrow in car 33 before he becomes a factory Volvo driver in 2014. So the end of an era for Gary Rogers Motorsport this weekend. This is a pretty good dice here, boys. Car 80 and 18, Scott Pye and Alex Davison.
It's going to be ugly. Alex was actually up there far enough to probably command track position. Scott turned it in a very difficult part of the racetrack, turn 5.
So an announcement this week by Dick Johnson Racing that Scott Pye is on the move next year. He'll join that Ford operation. Remember, he's a young driver managed by Roland Dane. He's got a bright future. He's done some great things in the past. Win Cup's still the leader at the moment. He's got a chunk of time up his sleeve.
And Will Davison is in pit lane. Car number 6 has made the call to come on in at the end of 39 laps. Right on cue, there he is. Wilbur, as they're calling him on the pit board over the pit wall. 4 tyres, fuel, windscreen strip change as well. Readjustment of the mirror. And waiting for fuel. That governs the pit stop time these days. Chris O'Toole's the voice you're hearing at the front of the car. It's taking a while to fill up. Good to go. So Will Davison rejoins. In the background, his brother, big bro Alex, is in there as well in the Geldwin 18 car, which is run under the Charlie Schwerkolt licence and pitted with the Botolo car.
In on the mirror. And down.
Just getting an adjustment to the mirror, you can hear
In more.
while they're refuelling. And the Pepsi Max crew now putting out tyres for Mark Winterbottom. That's why. So he rejoins now behind Scott Pye. And they'll take their fight back onto the track. Down the tail of the field. So 40 laps down now. Win Cup Completes lap 40. There's Jonathan Webb, still P2 on target for his first podium of the year. And Alex Davison's going to try to have a sneaky move down here. He won't quite get it done. And he's cost himself a little bit of time there too on cold tyres. Here's Winterbottom in. Team ready and waiting. Remember that the pit assignment is based on team's championship results from last year. So Red Bull Racing Australia were team champions. They're on target for that again this year. They take the last pit bay. FPR swing on in. Great shot. And they'll tape up that loose window. It's Perspex, so
Okay, let's get another wheel down.
got those big slabs of tape pre-prepared, ready for if there's this sort of scenario. Percat in as well.
We're at about 20 seconds there. And it drops. Make sure that's wheel target.
So second round of pit stops coming, and Mark Winterbottom comes charging in. Missed the mark, but it's not hard to do here because of the downslope of the front straight end of pit lane. It just makes the job a little bit harder for the crew, but they'll have plenty of time to get it done here. And of course, they're not only changing tyres, putting in fuel, but they're also trying to tidy up the right-hand side of the Pepsi Max Ford. What a great view from the balcony of the Novotel. Spectators can see far and wide on a clear day. Okay, Lowndes.
Yeah, we'll do a tear off, boys. Nah, it's not working, boys. Sorry, I can't get it through. Thank you. Thanks, mate. 26 worth seconds worth of fuel. 4 tyres. They're neutral on the box, please. Gonna be here for a bit. Thanks.
So Craig was a long way past the marks there too. He's roughly 300 to 400 mil further on.
All wheels are done now on the fuel.
As I said, it's downhill. It's quite slippery too. The surface is very coarse.
Little bit of fuel leak, Hutto, so just correct that head for me. Got the Alberto 2 garages away. You're gonna have to fire him behind him. Going fast now, so we're all clear. Still all clear.
I reckon the car controller's the one in the firing line there.
All clear, all clear.
He's got to clear that witch's hat there, which he does. Went to the right of it. And 3.4 litres per second, the refuel rate. And 26 seconds, so they've taken on about 89 litres of fuel there. So here we are on board with Lowndes.
So cold tyres, heavy load, and a track that's changing. This time last year, Crompo, it was boiling hot at this part of the day. We were racing much earlier, of course. It's now gone, it's getting close to 25 past 6 local time, so it's getting cooler.
And it was 2 hours of racing last year. It'll be near enough to 2 hours of racing this year. It's a long time in the car, and they're now dealing with the setting sun. That's why they're plucking the tear-offs from the windscreens of these cars to try and clear up the best possible vision. Fabian Coulthard, second and final stop.
There's some drama there with Lowndes because it only takes 32 seconds to fill the tank. That was more like 36 seconds in there then. So that's a long stop. In fact, he went back behind Will Davison with that when he went out. So interesting. We'll find out for you what went on there. He was parked for a lot longer than he should have been.
22.
And back behind D'Alberto, back behind Davison.
Go. Reset fuel. You're looking for Lowndes.
Didn't appear to be anything that we could see.
No, they were just saying they were waiting for fuel, so something strange.
Yeah, maybe I mean, it's definitely had a big effect. Oh, this is going to be contact! That was so close then with Whincup and Winterbottom. That was as close as it gets without both cars being put out of the race. Wow.
They both would have taken a huge deep breath.
Well, Jamie did the right thing. He just pulled his nose back out of there. He's about to stick a lap on him.
That's exactly what it was about.
Out from second place into the pit lane, Jonathan Webb.
Wheels are going back on.
Right on the marks. Very well done.
You've got your hands together. Okay, got you. Well, all clear, Whitey. All clear. Holding on fuel. Holding on to fuel. Holding on to fuel. You're clear, you're clear, you're clear.
He started the season well, Jono Webb, with a whole bunch of top 10 performances and then lit it up at Austin, backed it up at Darwin, but since then it's been a real hard struggle. And he returns here to the scene of his race win back in 2010 and is now fighting for the podium spot. So this is the move.
They did make contact. It was a little bump.
Yeah, so and the reason why this is all a bit vital in this replay here from back outside again is that Jamie's yet to take his second stop. Of course, if he could sneak a lap up on him, it might help the cause, but they've made the call. I heard it a moment ago. So Whincup in now for that second stop. Frosty's no way he's going to let him by easily, just in case something happened at that moment in time with a safety car or whatever. He's gone. So he had to fight then.
The drama's getting out of the box. Okay, they're all gone, so you're all nice and clean to come
just
in,
to explain, the significance of that was it was going to put him a lap down. You have to fight when that happens.
Yeah, and let's just have a close look at this stop of Whincup. I reckon this will be first class because it needs to be. Fuel in. Now remember, if I just can see down the top here, fuel guy, look at his digital readout. Nice amount of fuel to go in. Now the other thing you'll notice, look at these. Green set of tyres. Lots of tyres I've seen going on so far look like that. They look used. What are we doing there? We're
putting the spring rubber in, Marco.
Spring rubber in, yeah. This is a really cute little adjustment these guys do. So rather than change a spring, which you obviously can't do in a stop, they put a little wedge in there, if you like, which effectively stiffens the spring. So this means Jamie will be looking for a little more turn. And you might remember this morning in qualifying, he parked his car and got out and didn't use his third set of tyres. And he just put a green set on there. So everything working for Jamie. A stiffer rear spring with a green set of tyres. Beautiful stuff for a race driver.
He's going to look pretty good, isn't he? Now, there is second place Jonathan Webb. So he's just done the fastest lap of the race, and I think I saw a moment ago Webby new lap record. I'll have to verify that because of this problem he's got with the timing. So it's a little bit irregular at the moment. But whatever, he's going well, and it's not very far up the road. There is Whincup and Carnage 9 Murrow Engel. Erebus Motorsport V8 entry, pit lane drive through a penalty for spinning the wheels during the pit stop before he landed that car back on the road.
Now, isn't that a bold move? Because the car has been significantly faster than anybody else's car. They're reading the play as this race draws into the closing stage as it gets cooler, that they're stiffening the back of the car, wanting to further improve it.
It's a lot of fuel leaks from that Van Gisbergen car. The coupling there wasn't good. Yes, so they're playing for the conditions and looking for more turn in that car. As the track grips up later in the day.
So Tander's still out there. He's in 19th position at the moment.
Yeah, and Scave, to use your words from earlier in the day, mate, risk management, you just can't help but wonder what Jamie doing there. Rather than just trying to make the car go faster, a little bit of risk management. Most of the mistakes we see are actually under brakes into a corner. As we know, stiffening the rear of the car can improve the braking of the car. So Jamie's saying, hey, I ain't going to put myself or make myself prone to a mistake. Good move.
Yeah, look, that's right. Well, it has two effects. It will help the stability in the braking area, but maybe if you stiffen the back of the car and it makes it a bit more lively, more oversteer, makes it turn at the corner better, that it actually makes it too oversteering. Sometimes you make a mistake from that. So you can read that either way. They've had to read the play, and between Mark Dutton and Jamie Whincup, they've made that choice. So you can only predict the condition. You can only make a decision like that based on the feedback from the driver, and that's a pretty bold move when you've been the fastest car all day. On board now with Dean Fiore. Lap 46 of 74.
It's getting harder and harder to see out the windscreen as the sun gets lower and lower. What a day we're having, what a weekend we're having here in Sydney. What a season it's been so far in the 2013 V8 Supercar Championship. So Jason Bright leads the pack at the moment. And he's got a pit soon. Jamie Whincup is in control of the race for our South Australian viewers. 7 News at 6 is next. If you switch to 7 Mate now, you can keep watching the V8 Supercars live and free. For our New South Wales and Victorian viewers, welcome back to 7. Hope you enjoyed 7 News here at Sydney Olympic Park. Look at this. Bodywork still reeling on car 5 of that contact with Craig Lowndes and the Bottle entry earlier on. And the suspension just copping an absolute punish today. So on lap 47 out of 74, Jason Bright is ahead on the timesheets, but he will have to pit and pit soon. Jamie Whincup is your effective race leader. Jonathan Webb is looking comfortable in second. Fabian Coulthard is third. Will Davison, then Tony D'Alberto, Shane Van Gisbergen, Craig Lowndes and Mark Winterbottom still inside the top 10. The championship scenario is this. If Whincup stays where he is, presses on and wins this race, Mark Winterbottom's got to make sure that he's on the podium to be in the title fight tomorrow. Craig Lowndes just has to finish the race to make sure that he's in the title fight tomorrow.
So, boys, Scafie in particular, I just followed up with Mark Dutton, Jamie Whincup's engineer, and it was actually a bit of risk management. Clever stuff. What they've decided, because they put that set of green tyres on, unlike a lot of other people, for the last stint, and the track temperature is coming down in this cooler afternoon period, he didn't want to send Jamie out there and suffer understeer, which is the car not pointing where you want it to point, which is particularly a problem on cold tyres. Now, that is detail stuff. Neil, you and I spoke about that this morning. Detail stuff, and it's that attention to detail that wins championships. Well done.
48 laps in and just about every car has been whacked around pretty heavily. Shane Van Gisbergen, one of the worst. Now, at the rear of the car, he's been hit where the fuel nozzle goes in, and what it's done is thrown that off alignment. So when they went to fuel up, there was an excess of fuel in that area. When he left the lane, that basically spilled out. There is no problem, there is no fuel leak, but that's what happened for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Thanks for tidying that up for us, Barretts, because we saw when they had the fuel coupled up there was a lot of spillage. A bit rare to see that. I thought there must have been something wrong with the coupling, but that'll explain it. Incidentally, what's the problem here with Fabian Coulthard? It was all lit up there in the final complex. In response to the question of what's Whincup's car doing in terms of pace, it's quick. So it's got new tyres on it. They've stiffened up the rear of the car. The last lap he did it 29.1. The following was a 29.2. He's chunks faster than anybody else at the moment on that speed.
So let's have a look at what's happening in regards to the conditions here.
We had some issues. Going to do Winterbottom. We didn't get enough fuel in the car. So we come in again. So you can chew these tyres up and we'll put on some more ears. 20 seconds ago, hopefully the safety car comes out again. So we can get some more points.
Not enough fuel.
So that's the reason why it was stuck there, because you said it was 36 seconds. Yeah. That didn't make sense to me because it should have dumped all of its fuel, but they obviously didn't get it all in there for some reason.
That's right. There must be a problem because it actually stopped for 6 seconds longer than Winterbottom, and they're on the same strategy. So they were parked for a long time and still didn't get enough fuel.
So that was Jeremy Moore on the radio then saying, we've got to problem, burn up these tyres, come back, we've got to stick some fuel, and there's Roland briefing with Jeremy there at the moment on the right-hand side of screen. So that is catastrophic for Craig Lowndes. It's already been a tough afternoon for him. And that now explains the problem with the stop, which we'll have a bit of a peep at here, because we were just mystified.
That's what it is.
That's because of the damage.
Damage, exactly.
So it's similar to the Van Gisbergen story in that sense.
And the guys won't know that. What they do with this is they weigh it. So effectively, the amount of fuel that's gone in, the guys will know that they're trying to put X amount of litres in. They weren't able to do that. They'll know it by weight. And then afterwards, they work out the specific gravity of the fuel. They then work out what the literage was. And that's why Jeremy's giving Craig the bad news.
Roland Dane, sorry to interrupt, mate. We saw Craig pitted for an extended period of time, and obviously you haven't got all the fuel in, so there must be an issue.
Yeah, when Winterbottom spun him round, it damaged the corner, and so we can't get enough fuel in. And so we're going to have to come in again. We had to stop at a certain point. There's just not enough fuel in the car. So it's all courtesy of Winterbottom's dumb move at turn 11, wherever it was.
All right, thanks for the heads up, mate.
We heard the radio message when Craig was coming in. This is what we're going to do. It's going to be 26 seconds of fuel, and if you remember, I got the calc out and went, well, it's about 88 odd litre. Well, none of that happened. They didn't get it all in, so that puts a full stop on that story. Here he is on screen. So he's currently showing 7th, which I think is 8th, based on the fact that Jonathan... Wow, the abacus is going hard here at the moment because Jonathan Webb's transponder's not working and neither's my brain. So he's going to be buried when he comes back in and grabs some more fuel.
Oh, a little touch here for Van Gisbergen on Tony D'Alberto, who, as we've mentioned, is doing a terrific job today.
Well, he's fighting for survival. That's the reality of it for Tony D'Alberto and for this little team. They're looking to put together deals for 2014. Everybody knows how tough it is in this business, and so Tony's responding at the moment with a ripper drive. That's what you have to do.
And here is Craig Lowndes. It's not been his day. He sits at the moment in position 8. Of course, Bright still leads the race, but he does have to come back to the lane. That sun, look at that, right in the driver's eyes. Of course, they've got tinted visors. They're all in full face helmets these days, not gone are the days of the open face helmet. He's just got to push on and salvage whatever he can. He needs Whincup to have drama today, and he'll need him to have drama tomorrow because he will drop way down the order, considering there are 22 cars on the lead lap that are separated by 1 minute and 9 seconds. So 55 seconds, for instance, covers 1st to 16th, which is Alex Premer. So this is just disastrous for Craig Lowndes. And you've got to rewind. Why is there damage to the left rear of the car? Because he had contact from Mark Winterbottom. So not only did it cost him some time while he was parked trying to get it going, it's cost him way more time because they couldn't refill the car. So interesting to see what race control think of that. Here are the Kelly boys, Todd and Rick.
Keep rolling out of that throttle.
14th and 15th in the Jack Daniels Nissans. Michael Caruso is, well, the class leader for these guys. He's just up in front in 11th, which is not bad at all. First year in for Nissan Motorsport with 4 cars from this team. They did a great job just to get them onto the grid for the Clipsal 500. Of course, a win for James Moffat at Winton. Plenty of controversy about that one, but it is in the record books. Nissan have won a race in 2013 in their return year to the top level of Australian touring car racing. And just reminding Rick Kelly, Eric Pender on the phone there, that Chaz Mostert behind is not for position. He is 24th in the race, 4 laps down, and Rick was way out wide there. The 06 V8 champion, defending from a young guy who is on the move to the factory Ford team next year. Bright still leading the way. 51 laps have been completed. We're on 52 of 74, 250-kilometre race. We do it again tomorrow. Another qualifying session to jumble up the grid. But Jason Bright leads the way. But Jamie Whincup has this race by the throat.
The sun's getting lower, conditions changing. And it's getting tougher and tougher. Bright leads Whincup, but another stop to come for Team BOC pilot. Oh, yep, we can hear it. Who was it? It was David Reynolds.
That was
forward.
That was a quick reverse also. He did a really good job to get reversed very quickly like that. There was an ugly moment there with Mostert almost down the inside of Rick Kelly into turn 9.
And, problems of Tander again. The brake traumas with this car are causing him real grief.
Put it away.
It may not necessarily be the brakes, it could be the behaviour of the front end of the car, not applying effective braking. So Jason Bright is going to pit any tick of the clock. He's going to have to take on about 75 litres of fuel to get him home. And by our reckoning, he's going to end up in the mid-teens when he drops back into the field. Brad Jones and his group at Team BOC, they've been gambling on a safety car to get him off the hook. Here he is in. He's also got a bit of damage on the snout of that car and the rear, just for balance.
It's hanging off, actually. The front air dam is almost off the car.
To 4 tyres, 15 seconds worth of fuel. I'm going to do you a tear off as well.
15 seconds worth of fuel. What do you think, boys? Is this our toughest street circuit?
I'd say so.
Gold Coast, Adelaide, they're all car crunches.
See the amount of brake dust that came out of that rim when they first coupled up the air guns then.
Let us know, do you agree or disagree at home? v8supercars.com.au or use the 7 Sport app. Statistically, it is.
Yeah, and I like the way Brad Jones racing, probably more than anyone occasionally throw a bit of a curve ball in terms of strategy, use safety cars well. That comes from Brad's Oscar experience in the early days. Very, very interesting to watch. But Neil, I just pick up on your comments. Good ones on Garth Tander's car. Maybe not brakes, maybe suspension. You might recall this morning he actually said after he hit the wall, wow, they've put some new bits in the car, they're working really well. So maybe they've had a change of front end components, and as you know, that gets really complicated in terms of the way the car brakes, dives, pitches, all of that stuff with affects the way it stops. So yeah, maybe.
Oh, turn 8, Van Gisbergen up the inside, and that really displaced Davison onto the dirty line. Thanks for the update, Largo. Keep in mind, Tander also came into the race with a wounded front end in the front right corner of that car, so I think there could be a couple of things at play there. So Van Gisbergen makes an effective move there at one of the highest risk places. Turn 8 would not be at the top of my pop charts for trying to pull a successful move on anybody. Here it is, replay from the chopper. And Will saw him coming, sidestepped him, didn't find himself out in the dirty grey stuff where there's no grip, just by being a little bit courteous. Mind you, he had to go fairly well wide, Will Davison, to deal with that one. On board now, have a look.
Yeah, he won't be very happy about that. That was a fair lunge, and it was a good pass, but he couldn't do very much about it. He just had to park it wide, slow it down enough to turn it in late, and he got away with it.
Goes Mark Winterbottom has done a great job of pushing on after that tangle with Craig Lowndes just in the Pepsi Max garage. And Tim Edwards, has Mark had anything to say about the car after that, how it's been performing?
No, he hasn't said anything, but he never does. I mean, he never wants to disclose to other competitors if he's a bit wounded, so he keeps it to himself. But, I mean, we can see in the data that it's not tracking too straight, but the reality is he's just got to soldier on.
Crucial part of the day, he needs to finish on the podium in order to keep this championship alive. Can he get him to the podium?
Look, I'd say it's probably unlikely at this point. You know, obviously, with whatever's wrong with the car, you know, he's a bit wounded and we just don't seem to have the car pace today. So, unfortunately not, I'd say.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Yeah, talk about seeing and reading the data. Poor old Mark Winterbottom and the rest of the drivers, seeing is becoming much harder. We saw that from the view of the cockpit earlier, and when Will Davison saw Shane Van Gisbergen coming, it's probably easier that Shane Van Gisbergen's a bright yellow car. We've got Spotto, I can see him step out of the way, let him go through. So we're asking you the question, is this the toughest street circuit that we've been to? And I'm not surprised that you're favouring yes.
See that there, Matt? The steering is right hand down, so we'll get you through this little complex to come back out onto Australia Avenue, and we'll just explain for you the damage that's been referred to. So when you get the car straight, you'll be pulling gears to go down the straight. You see his right hand is down versus where his left hand will go when he goes back onto the wheel. So the steering is not straight, and that is the indicator from the driver's perspective.
Hey, Matthew, I just wanted to fully endorse the vote of the viewers at home. Well done. I actually did ask. I made a point of asking a dozen drivers last year here, is this the toughest street circuit we go to? Forget street circuit, it is the toughest circuit we go to. Well done,
And well said, Larko. 72 DNFs in 8 races coming into today. We can add another 3, 4, maybe 5 by the end of the day.
Still a long way to go in this, guys. And you just got to remember how grueling and tough it is over the distance. So they're on lap 57 of 74. So, correction, 56 of 74. So this is going to go well up and truly into that sort of 2-hour realm. Whincup, Webb, Coulthard, Van Gisbergen, Will Davison, Tony D'Alberto 6th, then Lowndes, Winterbottom, Bright, Caruso 10th. So that's Nissan in 10, and Erebus Motorsport Mercedes 11th, Slade.
So Mark Dutton just warning Jamie Whincup. The guys have never driven on this circuit this late. So a lot of the shade, a lot of the areas on the track, the sunlight into their eyes, but also some of the shading areas will have big differences for the braking markers and their points of reference.
And remember, after today's race, only 150 points left, so provisionally Mark Winterbottom needs to get a hurry along if he still wants to be in the picture tomorrow. Maro Engel, the SP Tools Mercedes-Benz.
In the runoff,
safety car.
Safety car scramble.
That's significant because Winterbottom was 38 seconds behind Whincup, and to recover, Maro Engel now compresses the field. There's the race director, Tim Schenken, Formula One and international sports car experience, driver standards observer and investigating officer Cam McConville on the right.
The cars, and you should have car 1 coming up behind you.
That's the view from behind them and the information that they have with all of the officials that are involved in the management of the race meeting. It's a huge effort to put together an event like this. There's the race leader, Jamie Whincup.
And we saw Red Bull Racing getting set. There they are, because that allows them to rectify the problem for Craig Lowndes.
Well, with less effect. They can get this done under safety car rather than under green. So this will have a definite, this is a win for Craig Lowndes.
However, they still have the problem. So if it didn't deliver fuel once, it won't deliver it properly a second time as well. So he's probably going to have to still hang around in there longer than he likes, but they'll make sure that they get enough in this time, I'm sure.
Minimise the hurt.
Hey, Jojo, can you give me an answer on if this thing is no good, the front is no good? Are you happy to turn the head around? Nice and steady for us, mate. No answer yet. Braking clutch for you, mate. Put these rears on. Perfect.
So look carefully at this.
Okay, yes, we can swap the head around if it's not working.
Doesn't seem like there's as much fuel coming out of it this time.
Bothering us there, mate. So,
And they're making sure that none of it's getting in the boot area as well, because that's the other thing that can happen if they don't couple up properly. It just fills half the boot up.
boys, I can't have the boot hold the fuel up, please. So if yeah, let's go. Come on, let's go.
So Craig Lowndes waits patiently while the Red Bull crew go to work, and he's back out there. This championship fight takes another turn.
And Lowndes is back on the road. He is position 21. His teammate is position 1. 150 points for the win for 21st. Some points, but not enough. You just got to push on, because you never know what could happen today or indeed tomorrow. But 21st place only gets him 42 points, so it's a big margin, 108 point difference in this race. Remember, he came in 20 behind Whincup, so by a very quick calculation, we're talking a margin of 128 tomorrow with 150 available. So that's, of course, there's still time for Lowndes to work back some ground. When he joins the back of the safety car queue, he'll have James Moffat to chase. He'll have David Wald to chase, Dean Fiore, Garth Tander with a wounded HRT car. So he could still get some ground. Ingle's been back out there doing laps. Lee Holdsworth's Merc has been back out there as well. So all those lapped cars that have had dramas are in. Dean Fiore's pitting as well in the Dodo Insurance Commodore. Still question marks over Dean's future for next year. Here's Holdsworth rolling on in after they've sorted out that steering drama. He's 26th and 17 laps down. Plenty of debris to clean up while the cars are cruising around behind the safety car. And the officials here doing a great job to give us the best, cleanest racing surface possible for this final 15-odd lap sprint to the checkered flag. Fiore been in the pits, so that gives Lowndes a spot. How bad does Ingle's car look? It's like it's trying to wear a mask. Not hiding from anyone today, though. He's back in 25th. But here's the order. Whincup and Webb. Has Webb got anything for Whincup? Coulthard and Van Gisbergen and the Kiwis are next. Will Davison flying the flag for Ford. Tony D'Alberto having a great run. Winterbottom, Bright. Caruso, best of the Nissans. Tim Slade's done a great job under the radar today. Qualified on the fringe of the 10. He's in the 10 now. We're on lap 59.
Look at this, the focus of a champion, a 4-time champion, sitting on the verge of a legend equaling 5th. Can he join the greats? Scaife, Johnson and Gagan. He's doing everything possible and he's doing everything right so far at the most brutal circuit that we have in the championship. You agree, 56% say yes, this one's the toughest. And it's just getting tougher as the evening goes on, approaching 7 o'clock local time. It's been a beautiful day weather-wise, and it's likely to be that way again tomorrow. But man, oh man, are they going to have to dust off some bumps and bruises to come back and do another 250 Ks?
We've hit our safety car budget, which each year has been somewhere between 3 and 3.5. So that was the third.
So fiscal.
These are tough times, Mark. You've got to hit your numbers. Very impressive performance here by Michael Caruso in 8th. There he is, car number 36, the Nissan Altima. Just behind him, you can echo those remarks for Tim Slade in car number 47 for Erebus Motorsport. So remember, Tim's had some success here previously. Nick Percat is 10th. That's a good performance. Of course, he's done enduro racing for the Holden Racing team, but this is his first solo run. That's an important marker for him to be in the 10. Just outside the 10 of the brothers Kelly, Todd and Rick, 11th and 12th in the Jack Daniels Nissans. There they are, the black cars just in the background. So this little group here have got a very important battle going on as they continue their development, climb their way through the field. There's our viewer vote question. Will Mark Winterbottom make the podium? Check out the opportunity to make your vote on v8supercar.com.au. Of course, you can grab the 7 Sport app and have your say as well.
Yeah, Frosty fans, get voting. Give him a push along if you want to see him on the podium, and that keeps him in the championship fight tomorrow, assuming Whincup goes on and wins today, but still 15 laps to go. And on Nick Percat, I saw him this morning before he headed across to the track, and obviously he was very excited about this opportunity. We know that he's already got a Bathurst victory next to his name. He said the hardest thing about this is jumping into this car when these guys have been doing it every second or third week all year. That's the hardest thing, getting into the groove. He's done it well, just outside the top 10. Larko?
Yeah, Matty, we're just looking at Tony D'Alberto on screen there in 5th position. I just want to emphasise what a great job he's doing, and the unusual thing about it, he's not actually sure what he's doing next year now. And I got to say, he's matured a lot in the car this last year or two, and I'd actually love to see him drive for a team now, because there's enormous complications. Believe me, when you're trying to run your own team, there's his dad, run your own team and drive the car or be involved in the operational aspects. And I think any team could do a lot worse than grab him, whether it's for an endurance drive or if there's a seat available. I think he'd be worth a shot.
The question was asked before for our viewer vote about can Winterbottom get on the podium. Well, this gives him a much better opportunity than just a couple of moments ago, gang. So he's 6th at the moment. They're all nose to tail. So this reignites that possibility.
And also puts Mark Winterbottom into the position of walking the walk. He's been talking the talk leading into this one, saying, I'm going to just give it everything. I'm not leaving anything behind. Well, now it's crunch time. He has to give it everything. Whincup gave it everything and more on approach to the front straight as we get underway. Under 15 laps to go. This Saturday race day at the Sydney 500. Whincup leads it through. Webb is 2nd. Dive on the inside by Michael Caruso, who's driven well today. On Tim Slade.
Battle for 8th and 9th. Tim's in the blue car, 47. Percat it is right behind him. There's the Jack Daniels Nissans. Todd and Rick Kelly, 7 and 15 right behind. Then Reynolds. Here comes Alex Davison up the inside of Scott Pye. That won't work.
And Craig Lowndes is behind this group. So Lowndes 2nd in the championship is 19th. Whincup, he's off in the distance already off the restart.
He's he's got great car speed, but everything after that is an open question at the moment. Jonathan Webb holding on here in second spot, doing a great job.
Winterbottom will actually be looking for a mistake from this group of Webb, Coulthard, Van Gisbergen. He's looking for those guys to have some drama. His teammate Davison is one spot ahead in the car in front of D'Alberto. So D'Alberto, as we said before, doing a really good job. Totally echo Mark Larkham's comments about Tony's drive this year. And there is Craig Lowndes, down in 17th, really 18th, because we're not putting the Jonathan Webb number in. Abacus.
Hang on, I'm just slide one of the little balls across. There we go, sorted.
Webby's a chance here of winning a V8 supercar race without being on the timing monitor. Winning it on the road, but not officially.
The guy that's going to go well, yeah, that's right, it will count. The guy that's going to go well is Bright.
That was Tander, I reckon, disappearing down into the runoff area, was it? One of those HRT cars went down there. It could have been 22, perhaps. It was Percat. So I could hear a tyre squeal in the background. Look at this. Todd and Rick are at it, and that's Rick getting the upper hand.
Yeah, and this has that danger period written all over it. A bit of silly season stuff going on here, not just between these brothers. They'll sort it out quickly. But this is the last 15 laps of this race.
Oh.
Conditions changing. Look at that. How's that for a flat spot? That's why Nick Percat ended up off the road.
Well, that wasn't his fault.
Yep.
So big lock up there. Was it Rick or Todd that had the big lock up? I couldn't really see whether it was 15 or 7. Big lock up, and Nick had nowhere to go. So that was not Nick Percat's fault.
James Courtney, that's Nick Percat out there in your car. That was close.
Yeah, classy bit of driving there from Todd. So so Nick had to exit stage right. But it's been a tough day for us at HRT, guys. Been having some issues. There's someone else in the wall there. There
Who
is.
is it?
So,
I think it's
looks like it's not over. It's Winterbottom.
It's Winterbottom.
I think so. Maybe a bit of payback for Lounsey.
It's destroyed.
Absolutely gone. The Pepsi Max Ford is over and out.
Year is over out of that, Matt. It's the end of Mark Winterbottom's season. Oh, look at the damage.
You're okay at the moment. Get it back east.
So that's one title contender gone from the weekend.
I'd like to see more of that. It's got serious engine drama, and there is a huge amount of damage on the man who come into this weekend a chance to win his first championship. What's happened there? That's Bright behind him. That was Bright behind him.
No, D'Alberto.
D'Alberto, was it?
Yeah. Here we go.
So this is on board with car 5.
So he's hit the inside wall, gone wide. So he's a spectator in that.
Scotty Pye's into the wall. James Moffat's stuck as well. Safety car will be activated again.
So Mark was an innocent bystander in that one. So D'Alberto hit the inside wall, fired out to the outside, come back, ricocheted off the side of Mark Winterbottom. Winterbottom then went into the fence, and Bright took the evasive action to come out from behind. So my correction there, it wasn't Jason Bright, it was Tony D'Alberto.
He's been so close to a championship. Finished second back in 2008. He's been in the running all year. He's taken the fight up to his rival Jamie Whincup that goes all the way back to their teenage years.
So
this is how it's ended.
This is another safety car intervention now as a result of what we saw down at turn 2 as Mark Winterbottom climbs out the other side. Passenger side of that car, too much damage on the other side, so all the drama down at 2 with James Moffat climbing out means that out goes the safety car again. So that's the 4th time today. And this is terrible news for this man, for this team, and for Ford fans.
I say it all the time, this can be the cruelest sport. It's a complex game with all the variables. And on that particular occasion, Mark Winterbottom, innocent in what is a season-ending incident. Unbelievable.
He rode the highs at Mount Panorama and ticked that box with Stevie Richards His wife Renee is always by his side. He's a Doonside boy, originally from Western Sydney. And now he has to face that realisation. He knew he was up against it today, being 124 points adrift. But the realisation is there that this season, this championship fight is gone for Frosty. For our Queensland viewers, 7 News is coming your way. You can continue watching the V8 Supercars to the end on 7 Mate. South Australian viewers, welcome back from 7 News, where the big news here is more carnage on the road. Scott Pye and James Moffat getting tangled up down here at the back chicane, and this will explain it. Oh, that's big contact. The Sargent security car into the Norton Hornet, and they are both out, but importantly, Mark Winterbottom, third in the championship, is gone. Innocent bystander in a crash involving Tony D'Alberto. Well, D'Alberto hit the wall and then hit car number 5. So Frosty's title hopes of 2013 are finished. And James Moffat adds to the list of DNFs along with Scott Pye.
And that looked like James Moffat's fault that time, Matt. He was way too fast down the inside of Scott Pye. So there it is, yeah. It's bumped the fence, gone wide, ricocheted out. Oh, and got him. He can just be in the wrong spot at the wrong time with it. Have a look at this again. Bang.
Yeah, I'll just... sorry, James. Frosty, mate, nothing I can say that's going to take this pain away right now, mate. What's your read on the incident, firstly?
Yeah, Tony hit the inside wall when he turned in and bounced off the wall, and then yeah, come back across, and then Bridie got me from behind. It's one of those concertina type things that that happens. So yeah, it's just frustrating, disappointing, whatever. But yeah, we'll try and fix it, I guess, and then go again tomorrow. But already had damage. The car was steering was out and all those sort of things. So just trying to get home, but you get caught up in someone else's mess.
Hope you can come back and enjoy tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
What a day. What a day this has been. Can Jamie Whincup go ahead and win it? How far can Craig Lowndes push further up the field and take this fight to tomorrow?
So this means a few things. It obviously gives Lowndes a few more spots. He's up to position 16 as it sits at the moment, and that would give him 57 points, but obviously Whincup up front would have 150, so 93-point difference. 20-point margin coming in, 113 would be the difference. Restart this time around. Lap 65. So Whincup leads us back to the control line. Again, he pulls margin on Jonathan Webb on the run down to turn 1. Coulthard's lurking. Van Gisbergen's lurking. Jason Bright's in the gap. Got it done on Will Davison. Puts the best of the forwards back another spot. Remember that Bright pitted late. Back on lap 53, so he's got better conditioned tyres, but haven't done as many laps as the guys around him.
Back here at Sydney Olympic Park, restart after the 4th safety car intervention. Whincup has blazed away. Second place at the moment is Jonathan Webb. There he is. Fabian Coulthard third. Pressure on him at the moment from Shane Van Gisbergen. Jason Bright just put a nice move on Will Davison down at turn 1. And again, we're seeing, and Van Gisbergen looks up the inside in the most awkward of places at turn 8, but this time pulls his nose back out. And as we saw in the previous restarts, with a good tyre quality on the car and the little tweak they made to the rear of it in the case of Car 1, Red Bull Racing Australia, Whincup is very good on these restarts. He's already got a 1.9 second gap.
And the other thing that's important, Neil, is the Bright manoeuvre, which put him into 5th position. He has got the freshest tyres, so he's been the latest of the stoppers in this race, which will mean that his car will be able to sprint as strongly is possible for Brad Jones Racing, with Fabian just up 2 spots in front. It's going to be a great battle between these guys. Van Gisbergen put a great move on Will Davison at turn 80. Tried the same one on Fabian.
So that was one of the 2 potential benefits for Brad Jones Racing in that Team BOC car. One was that by running a little bit longer and playing a game that was different to everybody else, they may have got a safety car benefit. That didn't happen. But with that last stop for him, lap 53, Shane Van Gisbergen, a little shortcut there. Lap 53, the last stop for Jason Bright. New rubber on, by far and away the youngest rubber of any of the cars we're looking up the sharp end of this field. This second, Webb. Coulthard, Van Gisbergen. Little moment for him just a few moments ago.
This will explain the shortcut that you mentioned for Shane Van Gisbergen. The curbs just completely unsettled the car. And he had no choice but just to go straight ahead and ride the bumps again.
What the super slow-mo does show us is the extraordinary loads that go through the suspensions of the car. I just can't believe that they take the punishing that they do. So a couple of other interesting things here. We've got Rick and Todd Kelly 10th and 11th at the moment in Jack Daniels cars, and Michael Caruso is 8th.
Thanks.
So 3 of the Nissan Altimas are in very good shape here at the moment, and you can include in this little battle as well car number 47, Tim Slade. He's doing nicely in that Erebus entry. There he is on screen in the blue car. So there goes Caruso, there's Slade, there's both Todd and Rick. And then it's David Reynolds, also pretty wounded around the front. In fact, I think it's easier to describe the cars that don't have damage than those that do. And it's coming out of turn 1 where they're really cracking a problem at the moment with this drama with the sun in their eyes. We've not raced here, of course, at this time of day. So they're having a real battle in this braking area up to turn 2. They'll be struggling to actually pick a reference point up there at the moment.
So Michael Caruso, what a great job he has done. You just pointed out the group of Nissan Altimas, but to gain 16 positions has to be the man of the match. And that's stayed out of strife. I mean, we've seen drama through the phases of the race. We've seen the restarts. Normally those restarts cause safety cars because it bunches the field back up, and there he is, right up behind D'Alberto. We've also commented what a great job that Tony's done through the course of the weekend.
He's originally from Sydney's Northern Beaches, so this is something of a home race for Michael Caruso. Saw his dad lurking around out here earlier in the weekend. Lots of friends and family out here, so he's putting on a good show. There's the continual rise of the newcomers in the category for this season. So we've got the new Nissan Altima, the AMG Mercedes. And any time you can be in the top 10 in any brand of car in this business, you're doing pretty well. D'Alberto, that's him just exiting screen. There's Caruso. There's a fair old battle going on behind, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, isn't there? There's nothing in it. Dave Reynolds.
Look at that. This is all in that group there. That would be massively intense. You work your backside off and get nothing.
Well, and Lowndes is one of the people that are in it. So he's currently 16th behind Garth Tander with all those problems that we've seen with the brake dramas for Garth. And then the fuel load issues with a restop, an additional pit stop that was required for Craig Lowndes. So they're way back there, as I said, 15th and 16th. And just in front of them, the boys are playing for keeps, so there's plenty going on.
Driving infringement, car number 360, James Moffat, for the contact with Scott Pye down at turn 2. So that'll be a pit lane drive-through penalty confirmed on screen there for you. Got going again, actually, James Moffat.
I thought he was out of the car, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure I saw him out of the car, and then next minute he popped up on the end of the train again. So a quick running repair, and off he went. This is on.
Yeah, this is the business part of it, because this battle's been going for the last 4 or 5 laps. Van Gisbergen does look like he's got slightly better pace than Fabian. Fabian needs to make sure he doesn't make a mistake, and the thing that's important is the guy with the freshest tyres is just behind in Jason Bright.
Now I'm fascinated to know, and I know that our viewers at home will be fascinated to know, how on earth, boys, do you drive now, staring straight into this sun? You mentioned reference points. They'll be so hard to find. What are the reference points? Can't see a thing.
Car in front.
Yep. Brakes.
Well, you drive up, you bump them. That's just a guide. That's what Neil used.
And you never did?
You almost see the halo of innocence, can't you, folks, from home?
Won 5 championships and didn't touch a soul.
4.2 seconds is the margin Whincup to Coulthard. He's checked out. Jamie Whincup's blazing. He's got a fast car. He's qualified brilliantly. Did the shootout brilliantly. He's racing brilliantly at the moment. There's no stopping him. There he is.
And he hasn't overdone anything. He only did 7 laps in the qualifying session, and they knew that was good enough.
He's had a habit of bouncing back from places where there's been adversity. If you look at over the tracking of his career, when we've all got excited, saying, oh, this is a drama for him, or this is a problem, he invariably comes back and focuses, and he's got that steely focus this weekend, and he's putting it to good effect. It's a nice job.
Well, we said coming in, his best finish here has been a 5th. It's been a bit of a bogey circuit. We've said that his speed's been good, but never really got a result. Come in with 20-point lead, and right now you'd have to say that this has been one of his better performances based on the pressure, based on that qualifying you said, Matt. Very powerful statement. When you only do that amount of laps, you put it into P1 and get out of the car in the middle of the session, basically. So it was a very good performance that got him to where he is. But that aggressive move at the start of the race on Mark Winterbottom showed his intention.
One of the few circuits, of course, that Whincup yet to have a race win at. He's been the dominant man over the last 6 years or so of the championship. He's already racked up 10 race victories this season alone. Now 74 in his career coming into this one.
And it's the ratio of wins versus races. So coming into the weekend, 303 V8 supercar races. When you can claim victory in 73 of them, the strike rate of success is pretty handy, isn't it? In fact, we mentioned right at the very, very top of the program, when you're battling for your 5th championship in 6 years, pretty much tells the story.
The man that he's battling, as I said before, is down in 16th position, trailing Garth Tander, who started from the back of the grid after the crash in qualifying. We know that today, even if Whincup wins and Lowndes finishes this race at all, then the championship is still alive for tomorrow. So anything can happen in this sport. We've just seen it happen for Mark Winterbottom.
He's cleared the adversity here of the difficulty he had at the Gold Coast. Remember that tough run for Paul Dumbrell up there? Those guys have been mega effective at Sandown and Bathurst, and the Gold Coast there was that little stumble. When you all of a sudden drop those points and it shifts the balance, to recover from that's impressive. How's the amount of light right in the driver's eyes there? This is Craig Lowndes. And that is the Turn 2 chicane complex.
It's extraordinary. I mean, we've got the view, the car in front disappears and then reappears and then disappears again. You know that there's concrete all around. There's not too many places to look around and find escape hatches, and you're at the back end of a race that's now done 2 hours. So mental fatigue, physical fatigue, all kicking in at this stage.
A couple of places where over the years we've dealt with that. It tends to happen at Bathurst late in the day. Down into the run braking area at Turn 1, up into the cutting area as well. And also Eastern Creek used to be pretty tricky. Sydney Motorsport Park, quite tricky at certain times of day. But this is going to be a real challenge for these guys. I wouldn't mind betting that they'll learn from this and there'll be more windscreen strips around if there's a twilight race again in the future.
Lots of puffs of blue smoke coming from Fabian Coulthard's car. I saw another one then coming onto the straight.
2.79 seconds is the difference from first back to second, then Coulthard third. Van Gisbergen is fourth. Jason Bright is fifth. Will Davison is sixth. And with Mark Winterbottom out of this one, Will Davison has the chance here to go up into third in the championship and overtake his teammate. Remember, Davison is leaving Ford Performance Racing at the end of the year.
Fabian just looking a little bit vulnerable still to Shane. This is the spot. Van Gisbergen just folds the mirror back in on the fence, and he does the dive. He's up there, they're going to make contact, and hit the fence. Oh. Absolutely gone. There was no way that both cars could get round there. So that's the dive we said before with Davison. The effect is that Fabian Coulthard out of the race from 3rd position. Got to make sure he doesn't get hit by another car here.
So that was a couple of Kiwis there at turn 8. Steve Webb from Techno Autosports, he's the team owner.
Do your best here. Obviously, we need to be efficient to try and get some points.
Phil Key, here's the lunge. Not clean enough, made the contact. Here is, this angle will be a little more telling. I reckon race control probably have a view on that. Robert thinks he's all okay, his dad. I'm not so sure.
More to play out on that one, but what it does is put the 2 Techno Autosports Commodores on the podium. Race control and the stewards might have something to say about that after the race. On the final lap, the final charge around this Sydney Olympic Park street circuit. 250 kilometres have passed, 74 laps, 2 hours of racing. And this man started from pole position. That was the first part of the puzzle that he wanted to get right. He did that, stayed clear of the trouble going on behind him. He has got a radar-like lock on another race victory. And importantly, a whole bag of points. 150 of them coming the way of the Red Bull racer. The dominant man of V8 supercar racing over the last 6 years. He is on the verge of a 5th title and on the cusp of greatness.
Nice work. Green now over 150. Get the focus for tomorrow. See that, mate. All glass, brother. No burnout. No burnouts allowed at all. Thank you.
Such an important win for Jamie Whincup. He will head into Championship Sunday with one hand on the trophy. And we know how hard it is to stop this man when he's in this kind of mood, but we also know that anything can happen at Sydney Olympic Park. Jono Webb 2nd, Shane Van Gisbergen 3rd. After the break, we'll speak to the drivers that matter, including this man, Jamie Whincup. One hand high in the air. And very poignant too that he also recognised back to his team that we finally won Sydney. And he does that, Jamie Whincup. You can talk to your black and blue in the face to him about how the numbers haven't stacked up over the years, and he'll deflect and deflect and deflect, but when he finally gets it, the truth comes out. He really wanted this one. It has been a bogey track. Craig Lowndes finishes 15th. So that puts him still within striking distance of the championship tomorrow.
110 points is that gap. Unofficially, just a quick calculation.
150 points on offer, so we've seen so much play out. We've seen so much drama around these streets over the years. Anything can happen. But what a performance from this man. Qualified superbly, started well, big dive down the inside of Winterbottom.
Flawless, that's what it was.
And fast.
I mean, if he went all the way back, Scafey, through those 74 laps, perhaps the only mistake he made, if you can call it that, was getting outpaced off the start line by Winterbottom, but he rectified that by turn
quickly.
1.
And he had quite a bit of wheel spin initially, but boy, did he recover. Next time he put his foot on the brake pedal, he recovered.
And from then on, he was pretty much never headed. He rounded up Jono Webb quickly and held him at bay.
He'll be very, very pleased with his own performance there, Matt. I mean, you sit there, take that in, drive down pit lane, people are clapping from other teams, endorsing the effort. He'll feel very composed. In fact, this will take some pressure off just what has been an incredibly intense preparation to this weekend. He knows how important that drive was. Very powerful. You notice that the elation is there, but they know how important tomorrow is. There's a sense of composure, but there's also a sense of there's still work to be done.
So unofficially 29.65. Jamie Whincup, 110-point margin over Craig Lowndes, 28.55. Nice performance, Techno Autosports as well. Jonathan Webb, position 2. Shane Van Gisbergen, position 3. But will there be a question mark at the end of that? Race control will no doubt look into it. But it's still a strong statement. All those cars built the same stable, but Whincup was untouchable.
Quite a sight. Shadows growing longer. Corporate areas are packed again, and they've witnessed a classic. He knows he's so close. He couldn't have done any more. A flawless performance today from Jamie Whincup. Claims his 11th race win of 2013. Celebrates with Mark Dutton and Roland Dane. Tempered a little bit because they know that they're not out of the woods yet. There's still 150 points on offer tomorrow, and Craig Lowndes is within that striking distance.
Well, Jamie Whincup, some wins are more important than others. Today was an important win.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Obviously, extremely happy with that. I had an absolute rocket ship. Full credit to everyone involved. There's more than 50 people involved in this car, and I was just happy to be able to showcase its true potential. But while I'm wrapped with a win, I just want to keep it under wraps. The championship's well and truly still alive, although I'm in a slightly better position than I came here with. But tomorrow it's going to be on. It's got to keep the focus and prepare overnight and come out strong tomorrow.
We got the feeling when you jumped out of the car that there may have been a bit of celebration, but no, the lid is on. You'll wait till you get it done tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously I want to celebrate. I've tried real hard here for 4 years in a row and never been able to be on the podium. So it's that one track that I haven't been able to have a win at. So now it feels sweet to be able to get there.
Okay, that gap to Craig Lowndes is now 110 points.
Yeah, so Lowndes will obviously be strong tomorrow, and around this track there's more than a good chance of DNFing. So it's well and truly wide open. We're in a good position, no more, no less. We've just got to keep our head down and enjoy the ride tomorrow.
Jamie, you've been the best driver so far this year. Well done once again.
Thanks, Brett. Cheers.
And great work too by these teammates. Congratulations, Jono Webb. Wow, we sort of lost track of you when the transponder went out. We didn't know exactly where you were, and you popped up second on the podium. Congratulations, a great day.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's congrats to all the boys at Techno. It's been a good start to the weekend. Both cars in the top 10. Shane got caught up a little bit at the start and gave me the easy run through. So just pushed on. Jamie was pretty keen to get through, so we let him by. And from there, it was pretty smooth sailing, really.
And Jono, you love racing on the home circuit here in Sydney. You win here a couple of years ago and back on the podium now.
Yeah, it's been way too long, but I've got all the family, friends, and everyone here in Sydney. So the support's been awesome, and I've just had a lot of fun already this weekend.
Awesome stuff, Jono. Congratulations. And teammate Shane Van Gisbergen jumping up on the podium too. Shane, congratulations. A tough race you survived and got through.
Yeah, we had to fight through there, and at the end with Fabian, unfortunately we come together, but I was up the inside and he just kept moving under brakes, and I was in there and he just kept squeezing me. But fantastic. 2 Techno cars on the podium. It's awesome, and Jono's first one of the year, so stoked to be up there with him.
Great to have you both up on the podium. Any doubt in your mind about that move on Fabian Coulthard?
Oh, no, he knew it was coming, and we caught him, and then finally stuck it in there. And as soon as I moved, he moved across and pretty much shut me off. But at point of contact, I think I was far enough up. But, we stacked at the first pit stop, and that put us 10th or 11th. So it was a big comeback from there.
All right, jump up on the podium. Enjoy it, Shane.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
So let's take a look at the results as they stand after race 35. Whincup, Webb and Van Gisbergen heading to the podium. Will Davison, the best of the Ford bunch. All 4 makes inside the top 10, and 3 of those Nissans, Michael Caruso and the Kelly brothers, with Tim Slade splitting them there in 8th for Erebus, AMG, Mercedes-Benz. So quite an eventful race, as you'd no doubt expect at this circuit. Garth Tander somehow managed to get car 2 back, so Craig Lowndes finishes in 15th spot, and as Barrett said, is 110 points away now from the championship. 150 on offer tomorrow, and we had 5 DNFs. Scotty Pye, Mark Winterbottom, that cruelled his title fight, Maro Engel, Tim Blanchard and Scott McLaughlin. So the sun continues to set here on this twilight race day, a piece of history in the V8 Supercar Championship. Massive crowds, everybody's enjoyed it. A wonderful day weather-wise, and another thrilling chapter in the history, the short history, but it's developed a fearsome reputation, this one, of the Sydney 500. And we get to come back and do it all again tomorrow, another 250 Ks. If you're in Sydney, jump on the free public transport if you got your ticket and come out and join us. Otherwise, of course, you can see it right here on 7. Let's get to the podium.
Race 35 of our season. This is the NRMA Motoring and Services Sydney 500. Would you please congratulate, in first place for Red Bull Racing Australia, Jamie Whincup. In second place for Techno Team Darrell Lee, Jonathan Webb. In third place for Techno Team VIP Pet Foods, Shane Van Gisbergen. And representing the winning team, Red Bull Racing Australia, Mark Dutton. Making the presentation of the third place trophy is Brad O'Hara, Head of Lifestyle and Entertainment NRMA Tickets. Presenting to second place is NRMA Patrolman Jason Venn. Making the presentation to the winning team is Jack King, Business Development Manager from Coates Hire. And making the presentation of the first place trophy is the Honourable Gabrielle Upton MP, Minister for Sport and Recreation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 V8 Supercars Sydney NRMA Motoring and Services 500 Race 35 winners.
That's the 75th career win for Jamie Whincup. And that's the one that has put him one step closer to legendary status in Australian motorsport and a 5th V8 Supercars Championship title.